Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei Become the Strongest Being in Multiverse Season 1 Part 10. Before we start, please go support John354 for writing that awesome fanfic. Now let's begin. This is the translated version I made. There will be some wrong he or she calling here because it's translated, so let me clear this. Issei is a male in this story. Chapter 186. It had been 7 months since Issei took command of the God of Destruction, and since then all you have done is destroy all enemies and train. There were so many things he had to do that he didn't even have time to sleep, although he didn't need it, nor did he need to eat. His training was going well, he was advancing faster and faster, and the three angels were surprised by his speed in learning new things. Issei was lying under a tree while he felt the breeze. Mikishin. It's the first time I've seen you so relaxed, you always spend a lot of time outside. Issei. Well, I wanted to finish all that as soon as possible. Vados. And it was too fast. Issei. How is the situation in this universe right now? Margarita. At the moment there is no danger on any planet. Since you put order there is only peace of mind, several places are grateful to you. Issei. It's my duty. Vados. And now that you plan to do what you wanted, even though it was less than a year. Issei. I'll go see a friend and then I'll leave the post. Margarita. The truth is, this time has been fun with you. More with his crazy things. Issei. Hehahaha, I'm glad you had a good time. Mikishin. You learn very quickly. Issei. I have to do it or else someone might kill me one day. Mikishin. You're joking, right? No one could kill you, not even in millions of years. Issei. It's a long time and I'd be old. Margarita. But you're only 17 from what I see. Issei. The truth is, this year I turned 33. As time goes. Vados. Because he didn't say anything. Issei. I focused so much on my mission that I forgot it, hahaha. The three of them just shook their heads at her attitude. At that Issei stood up. Issei. Would you do me the favor of taking me to Universe 7, more specifically, Planet Earth? Vados just nodded and started looking for the place, and when he found it the four of them teleported away. When he arrived he appeared in a field and saw an acquaintance. Issei. Hey Goku, it's been a while. Upon hearing that voice, he turned around and returned the greeting. They were there for most of the tournament. Goku. Hey Issei, it's been a while since you've been doing it. Issei. The truth is, a little busy, but I finally finished. And I wanted to come see them. And as it has been. Goku. It's been peaceful days, but we don't stop training for the next tournament, hahaha. Hearing that, Issei laughed too. Goku. Also Beerusama hasn't stopped training since that day. Just like his brother. Issei. You should have taken what Zeno-sama said seriously. And how are you, Vegeta? He just ignored it. Issei only broke out in a drop of sweat because of his attitude. Goku. And so I found a strong rival in this time. Issei. A while ago I found one that almost killed me, but I managed to survive. Goku. Wow, that sounds great. Issei. Something. But well, I came to say goodbye since I have other things to do. You were a great friend. Goku. I see. I hope we fight when we see each other. Issei just nodded, and with that he went to the girls and asked to be sent to the palace. Issei. Hello Zeno-sama. Zeno 1. Issei. Zeno 2. What are you doing here? Issei. I finished my work and came to leave my post. Zeno-sama saw the Shinken, and he nodded and showed Universe 18 and looked for any danger but nothing. Issei. I think they will be at peace for a year. It is more than enough. Zeno 2. Okay. Issei nodded and returned the suit. Since he was wearing his normal clothes. Just then Issei saw the three angels. Issei. It was fun, I won't lie. Mikishin. I might as well follow you since I serve no one. Issei. Maybe. And well, I hope to see you another time. Vados. Seriously, you leave that quickly. Margarita. The truth is, I don't want you to leave. I've never had fun like this before. Issei. You have responsibility just like me. The Shinken looked at this curiously since it was the first time that something about an angel not wanting to separate had happened. Mikishin. It's decided. Catching everyone's attention. The Shinken. What do you mean? Mikishin. The two of them will be free and will be able to do whatever they want. The Shinken. They can't do that, they have a duty. Mikishin. Remember that I also command, so I have the power to do so. If you have something to say it. The Shinken better not say anything since he knew of his power. Zeno-sama better not say anything either. The two of them were happy when they heard that and saw Issei. With a tender look. Seeing that, Issei just let out a sigh since she didn't want to see them sad. Issei. Good. Hearing that, the three of them were happy. Issei. We can go to a planet, I just have to tell you something. The three nodded and Mikishin took them to a place. Bulda Shinken let out a sigh at what happened. Margarita. Issei, what do you have to tell us? Issei. I'll be direct, I'm not from this dimension. Vados. What do you mean? Issei. I realized that in the tournament of power you looked for my origin and tell me what you found. Vados? Nothing really. Issei. I come from somewhere else and well I only came here to look for information and when I got here it was when Goku was looking for another participant. Margarita. Wait then if you hadn't appeared maybe another universe would have won. Issei. Maybe. Mikishin. So what's the place where you come from? Issei. It's partly calm and occasionally dangerous. The truth is I haven't explored the universe where it comes from, maybe I will. Besides, humans don't know anything about gods or powers like here. Vados. It's a normal place. Issei. Something like that. But there are enemies like angels and demons and other races. Margarita. The truth is that it sounds interesting to know that place. Mikishin. It must be very far for no one to have gone that far. Issei. But before we leave I want you to change your appearance. I want them to look like humans. The three nodded and changed their skin color. Vados changed his color to blonde just like Margarita and Mikishin left it gray. Issei. They look good. Then it's time to go. But before. Making seals with his hands and at the end he gave one to each girl. Mikishin. And what was that for? Issei. I sealed their powers, only leaving the three of them with 2% of their abilities. I don't want them to destroy everything in a fit of anger. Mikishin. You know that's more than enough to destroy a planet for me. Issei saw her and when she saw that look she took a step back. Mikishin. It's a lie, I can't do that. Issei watched her for a moment and she was trying to keep a straight face in the end Issei gave up. Issei. Before anything else. I want you to see my family. Taking a photo of her bracelet. And giving them where he seemed to be with two girls on his legs and the girls around him. Vados. Issei and them who they are. Issei. My family. The one on the right is Eri my daughter and the one on the left is my little sister Liza. And that I name each girl in the photo. Issei. They are my family and it is for them that I fight to make them happy. Mikishin. I won't lie it's a big surprise. Margarita. The truth is, yes. But we will get along with them. Vados. They seem to be good people. Issei. I'm glad to hear that. Kichigami please. They didn't understand the last thing until they saw a portal and then Issei was in front of it and invited them to enter. When they left the portal they saw a large palace and a woman sitting on her throne. Kichigami. You did well. Issei. Something. How much time has passed? Kichigami. 1 month. Issei. It's been a short time. I was there almost a year. You know I have never fought so much in my life. Kichigami. What did you do? Issei scratched the back of his head and began to explain. From the beginning, Kichigami was surprised by everything he wanted. In the end the three girls laughed a little at his shocked face. Kichigami. You know I shouldn't be surprised, but being you I should be prepared for every surprise. Issei. But that doesn't matter. I can go home I want to see my family. Kichigami just gave him a smile and nodded and opened the portal where the four entered. Chapter 187. Issei looked outside her house like a building, and upon entering the house he walked a little and saw her daughter at the table doing her homework next to Raswas. Issei. You're doing well. Hearing that voice, both of them looked for the origin until they saw Issei with a smile. Without wasting time Eri jumped out of the chair and went to Issei and gave him a big hug which he reciprocated. Later Raswas also arrived and gave him a hug since she had not seen him in a month. Issei. I miss them. Eri. How was your trip to Chan? Issei. It was entertaining. At that she turned around and Eri could see the three girls. Issei. Daughter, these are Mikishin, Vados and Margarita. They will live here with us from now on. Eri got out of Issei's arms and went to them. Eri. Nice to meet you. I hope we get along well Ka-chan. The three of them didn't know what to say about the last thing, so they just gave him a smile. Issei. Eri, can you show them the house please? She just nodded and took Margarita's hand and guided them. Issei. Tell me Raswas and the others. Raswas. They are working on their factions and others are on missions. Issei. I see, and with that matter how it went. Raswas. Everything is fine now the teacher is different and she is kinder since Arafal and Grafia investigated her. Issei. And where is Liza? Raswas. She's with Claire training. Issei. I see. She approached Raswas and gave her another hug. She was a little surprised by that and handed it back to him. Raswas. Issei gives you something to make you act like this. Issei. I was away for almost a year. Raswas. That wasn't all true. Something happened to you. Issei. I fought non-stop and there was a moment when I was about to die. Raswas upon hearing that wanted to separate from Issei and see him, but he didn't let her. Raswas. What happened to you, tell me. Issei. That doesn't matter, thanks to that I surpassed that limit and now I will be able to improve to take care of all of you. Raswas. Issei you are not alone. We are with you. This time Issei let her go and Raswas gave him a quality smile and took her head and placed it on her breasts. Raswas. You're not leaving, right? Issei. I want to be with my family. I won't be leaving for a while and I fought a lot. Roswis just stroked her hair. Eri. How did they meet 2chan? Vados. We were your guides. Eri. Great, and what? Vados. When he wanted to go somewhere we took him. Eri. You guys are so cute. Just like my other moms. Tell me what you like about my 2chan. I don't want them to play with him. Having a serious but adorable face, apparently from the girls. Mikishin. Issei is a great person. Margarita. It's very fun and I also take care of us a lot. Vados. We will always take care of him. Eri. I see, then it's okay. Mikishin. You love your dad very much. Eri. He has helped me a lot. He always makes me happy with my sister. Besides, it's Valentine's Day soon and I already have his gift ready. Margarita. I should do something too. Eri. Then we all do it together. The three angels just nodded and continued on their way. Hours passed and the girls arrived, and when they saw Issei, they quickly went to him and gave him a kiss since they had not seen him for a while. And they also met the three girls and were surprised that they are angels plus Gabriel, Griselda and Irina. Issei. How are you doing, Lucina? Lucina. It's fun being here. More being with Eri and Liza. Yukin. She makes a bit of a mess, but she cleans up herself. Pagaya. What did you do on the trip, Issei? Upon hearing that question he looked around looking for someone. Enemu? The girls are in his room. So you won't escape. At that office and Lefei took Issei from his arms. He could escape easily. Office. You're not going anywhere. At that Issei gave them a half smile that the girls didn't like. From 1 second to the next Issei teleported. Maruko. How did he do that? Vados. It is a technique that did not take much to master. Isaka. Since Issei escaped we have no choice. Tell us how much Issei did. At that Margarita invoked his center and showed the tournament. The girls, seeing the fights and knowing that Issei was defending a universe, were surprised. After the battles they heard Issei talk that he wanted to fight with all the gods. The girls at the same time slapped each other in the face for what he did. Then they saw his battle and saw how easily he did it. Ronald. Wait, that means Issei became a god of destruction. Vados. That's right. And the most feared of all. Hearing that, everyone continued watching until Issei left. At that Mikishin invoked his staff and continued where they both faced each other. The girls' eyes widened knowing that Issei could destroy planets without problems. Tian Renksu was shocked to see that he fused with the spirit weapon from him. Naruko was also surprised to see that he joined the Susanoo. I was even more shocked to see that he combined the Rasengan with another ability. They continued watching their battle until they both fell. Margarita. Wow, that was a great battle. Mikishin. He had millions of years without having a big battle and he beat me up. Leviana. That means they could destroy this planet or universe. Margarita. We could but we can't. Who knew? Because. Vados. Issei made some movements with his hands and sealed all our powers, leaving us little. Pagaya. He must have a high level to achieve that. Tsukiyomi. Issei always gets into trouble. If one of us had been there we wouldn't have let him do all that. Meanwhile Issei was on a mountain and sneezed. Issei. I'm sorry that something happened to me when I came back. While at home. Prince. That was a lot. Roswis. Issei was very happy when he returned. Griselda. It happened so I imagine why. Serafal. Now that we've left all this nothing, it's time to prepare everything, that day will soon arrive. Mikishin. What day are you referring to? Serafal. Valentine's Day. We have to give Issei a good gift. Margarita. Eri told us about that and we have to hurry up. Rafia. I'm going to help you since I'm missing too. In that, Serafal took from a pocket size a cup with many suits. But he added 3 more. Vados. What is that? Hinata. After Valentine's Day we are going to have a date with Issei. And we'll see who will be first and last so it's fair. Mikishin. It's great. Serafal got up and walked by each one and each one took theirs. The first ones were happy and blushed. Vados. Because those faces. Athena. We're ready for that. Well, most of us already talked about it and well. I didn't finish as she was embarrassed. The 3 angels, knowing what was going to happen, also blushed. Enterprise. They should know that that is not an obligation. Some will do it because well we want to be with him forever. Margarita. And if that happens. Enemu. We'll get a seal. Kuroka. We will remove it when both he and we are ready. Mikishin. I will. Honestly I've always been loved. Flashing a big smile. Vados and Margarita only nodded as well. Enemu. I wish you all luck in your dates. It's not worth spying, okay? They all nodded and stood up and raised their fists in confirmation. Later Issei returned to the house and noticed the lights turned on so she entered in silence, but after just taking a few steps the lights came on and there were all the girls except 3 angels. With a serious face. Gabriel. You must be punished for what you did. Issei was about to say something, but Office used one of her snake to trap Issei. He could let go without difficulty, but he didn't want to make the girls more angry. At that point they all came closer. Later he sounded like someone laughing non-stop. The girls did not listen since they had a barrier. Ingvald. We can't hit you since you wouldn't feel anything. So this is the only option. Balsam girls had their arms and legs. And they had him without a shirt and shoes, and they tickled him. Say. Sorry. He said it in tears since he couldn't stand it. Najir. Nope. This is fun. And that Issei used his secret weapon and it was his tender face. But it was of no use as Claire put a bag in her face. Kian Renksu. That was good. The girls continued for 2 hours until they got bored and went to leave Issei in her room since she had fallen asleep from laughing so much. Margarita. They don't think they went too far. Lefei. He was able to escape without any difficulty. Aride. But he didn't do it. Some just put on a smile when they saw him sleeping and then they closed the door and they also went to rest since they had things to do the next day. Chapter 188. Since Issei returned he did not go to the underworld since he did not want to fight for a while since for the first time he wanted some rest. On those days he always went to drop the 2 girls off at school and bring them back. The girls accepted since he doesn't always have that opportunity. Los Angeles went with the others to get to know their new home. They could do it faster using his magic but Issei told them that it's better to see it with their own eyes. Issei. I notice you two are a little nervous, something's up. Both girls stopped walking when they heard that and didn't know what to say. Liza. Nothing bad on Chan. Issei. If it's because of school, tell me. Eri. Everything is fine there is nothing wrong. The opposite is much better. Issei just smiled at them and they continued on their way. When the girls saw that, they let out a sigh since they did not want to ruin the surprise since that day was Valentine's Day. Their mission was to entertain Issei until the afternoon. They both saw each other and nodded and went with Issei. Eri. 2chan we don't have homework and well I want to go to the cinema to watch a movie. Putting on a hopeful face. Seeing that, Issei couldn't refuse and accepted. The girls high-fived when they saw that. After that they continued on their way and both were looking for a way to entertain him. Hours passed until they decided to return home. And as he did so, Issei saw all the girls in the room with something in their hands. Issei. Something's wrong. All. Happy Valentine's Day. Each one approaching to give him his gift. Issei was surprised to hear that since he hadn't paid attention to the date. Issei left all the gifts on the table and both girls came up too and gave them theirs. Issei just gave them a hug for their efforts. Issei. Thank you all, I promise to eat them all. Approaching the table and putting all the gifts in her bracelet. Later they had a big dinner where everyone was happy. Then the girls went to rest. Astrid. Issei, since tomorrow, no. Issei. Of course I promise to go out with you. Amaterasu. Don't worry, we will be your guides this time. Issei. I see but who will I go with first? Aphrodite. It's a surprise. Issei better not ask more and they changed the subject. Later they went to rest. The next day Issei was outside the house waiting until the door opened. Issei. And where we will go Enterprise. Enterprise? Leave it to me. Today I send okay. Issei. As ordered Captain. Enterprise just gave him a smile and took Issei's hand and with that they both left. Issei. You look very pretty today. Enterprise. I say the same about you. They continued on their way until they went to a restaurant to have breakfast. At the end they took a taxi that took them to the sea. It was empty since it was still a little cold. Issei. And where we will go. Enterprise. Follow me. Running to the sea. Issei didn't say anything else and followed her. After a few minutes of running they stopped and Enterprise activated her ship and they both got on. After that Enterprise gave Issei a swimsuit and she went further away to change. Minutes later Issei was looking at the view of the sea until she arrived. Issei turned around and was surprised at how cute she looked. Issei. You look beautiful as always. Enterprise. It was difficult for me to choose it, I'm glad you like it. Issei. And what do you want to do? Enterprise. Let's go for a little swim. Issei. You won't be cold. Enterprise. Issei I lived most of my time at sea this is nothing. Issei. It's true hahaha. I'm sorry. She didn't say anything else and walked over to Issei and took her hand. Then they both jumped into the sea to swim. Later they went upstairs and Enterprise started preparing lunch. For a long time she was taking cooking classes with Belfast and Graphia to learn since she didn't know anything. After a few minutes he finished and they both began to eat. Issei. It looks great on you. Enterprise. I've been practicing for this moment. Since I met you my life has completely changed. Issei. How can I forget those days? If you were very serious and some people were afraid of you. Enterprise. Only you had the courage to stand up to me. Issei. Hahaha what can I say? Enterprise. That part of you is the one I liked. But you were very insistent. Issei just smiled at her and they talked a little more and after a break they went swimming again. Until it was getting late. Issei. It was a fun day. It's time to go back. stretching her arms. She was about to go change until Enterprise grabbed her arm. Issei saw her with a red face. Issei. Something's wrong. Enterprise. Today we will not go to the Issei house, we will stay here. Issei. Are you sure? She just nodded with some embarrassment still. And she started walking pulling Issei by the hand. He was curious since he didn't know where she would go. After that they entered the ship. Issei was about to say something until they entered a room. Enterprise. Issei, I'm ready for that. Issei. Enterprise, I notice you're nervous, maybe you're overdoing it. Enterprise. None of that, is just that I have some shame. Issei, I want to be with you forever and I wish for this. Issei just gave her a smile and walked up to her and gave her a hug. Issei. We will always be together. At that they separated from the hug and Issei carried her in her arms and carried her to the bed. Enterprise, lying down, just stretched out both arms with a smile. Enterprise. Be gentle. Issei just nodded and approached her, giving her a kiss. As you know, I don't narrate those things. I hope you agree with that. The next day Issei was waking up early and saw Enterprise next to her sleeping on her chest. Issei just stroked her hair with a smile. Seconds later she woke up and saw Issei. She gave him a smile, but with a blush on her cheeks. Enterprise. Good morning Issei. Issei. Good morning. Good morning. Enterprise. I'm fine. You know I would like to be here all day, but you have an appointment today. Issei just smiled at her and gave her a kiss. Then she got up and changed. He saw Enterprise and she smiled at him. Issei left the room and took out her wings and flew back to her house. Enterprise. Girls, I wish you luck on your dates. More in the last part. Has a lot of energy. Letting out a sigh and closing her eyes to rest since she had barely slept. When Issei arrived at her house he saw someone at the entrance. Issei. Sorry for the delay Lefei. Lefei. Okay, go change, it's still early. Issei just gave her a slap on the forehead and quickly went to her room. 5 minutes later he was out and ready. Issei. And where we will go. Lefei just gave him a smile and activated a magic circle where they were both teleported. When Issei opened them he looked at the sides and was surprised at the place she was in. Issei. This place is. Lefei. That's right. This is where we met. I will never forget that day since it was the beginning of my happiness. Issei. I didn't forget that day either. Lefei just gave him a smile and after reaching into his pocket he took out a basket with food. They both sat on the floor and while they ate they talked about the past. Issei. And what do you want to do today? Lefei. You have to play a little. Since neither of them had a great childhood. Issei. It's fine with me. And what do you want to start with? Lefei put her finger on his chin and thought a little until an idea came to her. Lefei. How about we play catch but without using skills, okay? Issei. Okay, but you should know that I will beat you. Lefei just smiled at him and started running. Issei gave her a 1-minute head start and then started searching for her. They were playing all day and when it became night. Issei was about to say something, but Lefei teleported them both. Issei, looking around her, only noticed a bed. And he looked for Lefei, but he wasn't with him. He was about to call her until she heard the door open. And he turned around and when he did so he was surprised to see her. Lefei. You like Issei. Issei. As cute as always. Lefei. From today we will be together forever. Walking over to Issei and taking his hand and leading him to the bed. Issei better not say anything and just follow her. The next day Lefei was waking up in pain, but he didn't say anything. Lefei. It's a good thing I told Issei to leave early yesterday. I didn't think Issei would be like this. But seeing how he is, it was to be expected. I'll stay here until tomorrow maybe. She fell asleep again. Issei this time teleported to the house in her room. Issei. I should have done that yesterday but it doesn't matter. Changing clothes and then leaving the house. She was waiting outside for a while until the door opened. Issei. Wow, but she is my magical girl. Seraphol. Today is going to be a long day. Taking Issei's hand and starting to walk. Issei. Where are we going? Seraphol. Well, in another city there is an event and it's good. Issei. Sure, let's go. I will follow you wherever you wish. Seraphol just gave him a big smile and then they both teleported away. When leaving the place to change, Seraphol was wearing her usual magical girl outfit and Issei was wearing a wizard's outfit. Seraphol. Nothing bad looks great on you. Issei. I say the same. So don't separate from me. Seraphol. Because. Issei. You look so pretty, I don't want them to take you away from me. Taking Seraphol's hand. Seraphol. I will never leave your side. Issei smiled at her and they both began to walk around the place, drawing a lot of attention from the boys since Seraphol looked beautiful in her outfit. I didn't pay attention to them since I just wanted to be with Issei and enjoy that day. They spent the day seeing various places and did some modeling. In the competition they both won for their suits. Issei was happy since she always looked at Seraphol with her smile. Later they both left and Serafal teleported them to the underworld, rather his mansion. They walked a little until they reached a room, and upon entering Issei saw many figures and things about her, but he didn't say anything. At that Serafal activated a magic circle and changed her clothes. Serafal. Ice-chan, make it the best night of my life. Sitting on the bed and giving Issei a smile. He just smiled at her and walked towards her, and he threw her on the bed. Serafal. You are and will be the only man in my life. I love you, Igarashi Issei. Issei. Me too, my magical girl. Giving him a kiss. The next day Serafal opened her eyes and remembered everything that happened in the night and blushed for what she did. Serafal. I don't think Issei would be like that. I'll ask for the day off today so I don't work. I barely go to take a bath. Issei teleported to her room and changed her clothes. Issei thoughts. These have been unique days. I will do my best to protect you girls and always see those smiles. Just then he came out of his thoughts as someone took his hand. Najair. Are you ready for fun, dear? She told him with a big smile. Issei only smiled when he saw her and then they both left the house. Issei. Where are we going? Najair. I really want to go to the amusement park. Issei. I see, it sounds good. Holding her by the waist and both teleported to Disneyland. Najair upon seeing the place was surprised at where he was. Issei. I hope you like that place. This is where I brought the girls. Najair hugged Issei and gave him a kiss and she liked the place. After that they both went to ride all the attractions they could. In the afternoon they were both on the Ferris wheel watching the sunset. Issei. You liked it? Najair. My answer is obvious no. I loved it, I never forgot this day. Putting his head on Issei's shoulder. Najair. Issei, we can go rest. Issei. Do you want to go home? Najair. No. Let's go somewhere else. She said it with great shame. Issei didn't say anything else and they teleported away. To a hotel in Japan. Najair. I'll go change. Issei. That's why the small backpack. She nodded and went to the bathroom. Minutes later she was walking out in an outfit Issei wasn't expecting. Najair. Today I will give you lots of encouragement, dear. Issei just smiled when he heard her and opened his arms to her. Najair jumped on Issei, landing them both on the bed. The next day Issei was waking up while Najair was holding him. Issei slowly removed his arms from her so he could get out, but she held him tighter. Najair. I love you, Issei. She said it in whispers. Issei just put on a smile when he heard that and placed a kiss on her forehead. Issei. I love you too. At that point she managed to get out of the hold and went to her house. Minutes later she was leaving the house again. Issei. I hope the girls are well. Naruko. They are fine, we told them that we wanted time with you and they accepted. Hearing that voice of hers, Issei turned around and saw her with a very unique color of hers being orange. Issei. You love that color, don't you? Naruko. You don't like it? Issei. It looks perfect on you. And where we will go? Naruko. You know that I grew up more or less in the forest, no? Issei. Sure, that was a nice place. Naruko. Then let's go. Taking Issei's hand and running to her destination. After a few hours of travel they reached their destination where there was a large lake. Issei. Wow, it's very cute. Naruko. I found it on one of my missions. Besides. Pointing her finger in a direction and Issei seeing the place was surprised since there was a cabin there. Issei. It's identical to the one I had there. Naruko. It took me a while to make it with the help of my clones. Do you like it? Issei. She's very pretty, thank you. Naruko. For me it is also a special place since I always went to see you. Issei smiled at her as did she. After that they went to the cabin and changed to take a bath in the lake. While Naruko created a clone to make the food. Minutes passed and those became hours and thus the night arrived. They were both in the room. Issei was reading a book while Naruko was on her lap. At that she got up. Issei. Something's wrong. Naruko. Nothing, I'll just go to the bathroom. Issei just nodded and continued reading her. Minutes later the door was opening. Naruko. Are you more interested in the book or me? Issei. Obviously you. It didn't end as she saw Naruko alone with her jacket. Naruko. You like the way I look? She walked towards him with a smile and then he sat on her lap. Naruko. It's going to be a long night since I left the furball at home. Issei. I see. Naruko. Also, being a former Uzumaki, I have great stamina so you won't leave here so easily. Issei upon hearing that just gave her a smile and took her in his arms and took her to the room. The next morning Naruko was waking up and saw next to her and there was breakfast. She took the note that was next to it. Issei. Thank you for everything. It was a nice night, take care and see you soon, I hope you enjoy your breakfast, I love you. Naruko just smiled when she saw that note. Naruko. I couldn't even beat him with my clones. Like the other girls did to resist. I can only wish the others luck. Starting to eat his breakfast. Issei. Where are we going? Alicia. To a place that will bring back many memories. Issei just raised an eyebrow and with that they both teleported away. Issei opened her eyes and looked around her trying to remember. Until after a few minutes she succeeded. Issei. This was where we fought. Alicia. You took longer than I thought. Issei. What can I say? I forget things when they insult me. Alicia. Well, that doesn't matter. From that day my life changed for the better. Before I only thought about destroying everything in my path without anything important, but then you came and took me down from that cloud. Issei. I'm glad you've changed since I like your way of acting, you're like some girls, a little tsundier. Alicia. Just because today is a special day I won't say anything. Giving him a smile. Issei didn't say anything else. They walked for a bit while talking about trivial things. When night came Alicia took him to her old house and gave Issei a suit. Minutes later she was coming out in a dress. Issei. It's weird seeing you like this in dresses. You look very cute. Alicia. It's a special day so I have to give it my all. Issei extended his arm to her and she took it. Later they went out to dinner at a luxurious restaurant where she already had everything ready. At the end of dinner they returned to Alicia's house and she wanted to go there. They both went to the room and Alicia took a seat on a couch and gave Issei a smile. And some girls I will use different images since there are none. Alicia. I hope you entertain me. Since you won't get out of here that easy. Issei. I will give my all. Taking off his shirt and going to her. Alicia, upon seeing him, just put on a big smile and launched herself at Issei, both falling to the ground. The next day Alicia was arriving home in the afternoon and most of the girls were there. Rafia. How did it go? Alicia. I told her not to hold back, but she took it seriously. Naruko. I understand you. Lefei. But accepted, it was the best night. Those who were with Issei nodded in confirmation. Enemu. I want my day to come. Alright. We just have to wait. Meanwhile Issei was in a park listening to how someone played him a song. At the end Issei stood up and applauded him. Issei. As always you play very well. And Zayton. Don't exaggerate. Issei. I'm telling the truth. Since the day I heard you for the first time. And Zayton. That wasn't long ago. Issei. For you maybe, but for me it's been a few years. And I will never forget how calm and pretty you looked. And Zayton only blushed upon hearing that. Issei. What do you want to do now? And Zayton took Issei's hand and they both teleported to her house. Issei was surprised by how cute she was. And Zayton. I haven't been here for a while and I wanted you to see it. Issei. She's cute. And Zayton. I know what I'm going to ask you is boring, but we can watch movies together. Issei. It doesn't matter what we do, what matters is that we are together. And that's what you want, I happily accept. And Zayton was glad to hear that and guided Issei to the room. In that moment, she took out several movies from a pocket dimension and then left Issei to choose while she went to the kitchen for snacks. Minutes later she was arriving. And Zayton. And which one we will see? Issei. There were many options so we're going to start with some romance and then a comedy one in case the previous one is sad and then an action one just in case you have any doubts and finally a horror one. And Zayton. Sounds good to me. Taking a seat near Issei. Hours passed and they both watched the movies in that order. Ben Zayton and Issei were laughing at the comedy and when they saw the horror one, Ben Zayton got scared and hugged Issei. He wasn't scared since he's seen worse things in her life, but he had to pretend for her. At the end they turned off the TV. Issei. Wow, the day went by quickly. Ben Zayton. Issei, we can take a bath together. She said it with a tomato face. Issei for her part just nodded at him. She guided Issei to the bathroom and he went inside and changed into a swimsuit. Minutes later she was entering. Issei. You look very pretty. And Zayton shyly entered the bathroom and hugged Issei. And Zayton. You are very important to me, I love you Issei. Never leave my side. And Zayton. I'm going to wipe your back. Issei just nodded and took a seat. Ben Zayton started and after a few minutes they both entered the bathtub. Issei. Are you comfortable? And Zayton. When I'm in your arms yes. At that she turned around and kissed Issei. Then she took off her bra. Issei looked into her eyes and she nodded with a smile. The next day Issei was at the entrance to her house. Issei. I'm glad the girls are happy. Minutes later she came out with the person she was going out with. Isaka. You're ready dear. Issei. Whenever you want. She smiled at him and they both teleported to Kyoto. Isaka. You still don't know much about here, right? Issei. It didn't take long. Isaka. I know and that's why today we are going to see several places and at the end I will give you a surprise. Issei. What kind of surprise? Isaka. Just wait, yeah. Issei just nodded and with that they both began to walk through the streets of Kyoto looking at various stalls. Issei bought her a chain with a little fox on it. He also bought 2 more chains for Eri and Liza. It was afternoon and they were both having lunch. Issei. Yusaka this is all great but I have to ask. Isaka. Tell me. Issei. What happened to your husband? Hearing that, she dropped her spoon and lowered her head. Seeing that, Issei was scared and was regretting it. She was about to say something, but they beat her to it. Isaka. Okay, I'll tell you. Issei. Don't force yourself. Isaka. Okay, besides, that's already in the past and sooner or later I had to tell you and this is the best time. Issei. Okay. Isaka. The council and my mother betrothed me to him. Her family is noble. I didn't want to but I had no choice. Over time the wedding happened and the truth is we never got along well, he always yelled at me, and well that too. Issei knew what she meant and clenched his fists because of how upset she was. Seeing that, Yusaka got up and sat near Issei and took her hand. Isaka. It happened, yes. Issei. Sorry. Isaka. Every day was ugly for me. I hated him with everything in me. The time passed until I found out about my pregnancy. I thought he was going to change, but it was the opposite. He hit me because he wanted a boy and not a girl, he wanted me to abort. I refused and there were several occasions when she almost succeeded, but in the end I managed to keep her safe. He never spoke to her, and Kunu was upset about that. Time passed and there was a rebellion, and he, being a coward when it came to war, fled. And over time he took the position of leader. And I promised myself not to love again. But when they showed me everything you did to save me without caring about your life, I felt something for the first time in my life, and that was love. Giving Issei a smile with a tear. Issei wiped that tear away. Issei. And I would give my life as much for you as the others. You are my family and for me that is the most important thing. Isaka just hugged Issei because of his words. Issei thoughts. If that bastard is still alive I swear I will kill him without having any mercy for what he did to them. He snapped out of his thoughts and then they finished eating and went out for more fun. The day passed and the night arrived. Issei was surprised as he was taken to the hot springs. Upon entering he let out a sigh since he had not entered for a while. Just then Yusaka came in alone with a towel. Isaka. And tell me you like me. Issei. It's very relaxing. But what if more people come, I don't want them to see you. Isaka upon hearing that just laughed a little. Isaka. This place is mine and no one can enter. Exactly Kunu and me. But now you all can do it. Issei. That sounds great. Isaka. Issei, you know what I want too, don't you? Issei. Here. She nodded at him with a big smile. Issei. Okay but can I ask you a favor? Isaka. Whatever you want. Issei. You could use your true form because that way you look prettier. Isaka just nodded and took out her ears and the 9 things. Isaka. You like it. Issei. You look very pretty like this. Without warning Issei rushed towards her. Isaka, upon seeing him, only smiled since the night that she had wanted so much with the person she loved this time awaited her. The next day she woke up in her room in her castle. She didn't remember how she got there until she saw a note on the matching table. Issei. It was great, I'll never forget it. I took you home without anyone noticing. I hope you have a good day, Is loves you. Isaka. I thought he wouldn't resist since he was with the others, but he has a lot of energy. Laying down again. Issei for her part only arrived at the house and they were waiting for him this time before leaving the castle she changed since she was wearing clothes in her bracelet. Issei. Sorry if I kept you waiting. Gabriel. Okay. I just came out and you're ready. Issei. Sure but where are we going? Gabriel. To heaven. I want to show you my favorite places. Issei. I'm ready. Gabriel gave him a quality smile and with that they both disappeared in a golden light. Upon arrival they appeared at the entrances and the dens bowed when they saw Gabriel. And they greeted Issei since they knew of her exploits. Then they walked around the place. Issei, for her part, was surprised since it was the first time she went there. After walking a little they came to a large garden with many animals. Gabriel. I come here when I want to think because it's relaxing. While a cool breeze passed by. Issei. You're right, you can feel the warmth of the place. You know Gabriel, I am grateful to my parents for letting me. Gabriel looked at Issei curious about what he said. Issei. If they hadn't left. I would never have met you and perhaps right now I was an ordinary person. Gabriel. Things happen for a reason Issei. And fate wanted us to meet and I'm happy about that. Although at first we didn't talk much since you were busy. But I felt bad when I realized that you were left alone against those frost giants. My chest hurt and I didn't know why since it had never happened to me. But now I understand why and that's because I love you very much and I would die if something happened to you. Issei. I will not die so easily and if one day comes that is because my time has arrived. Gabriel. If that day comes, I will go with you. Approaching Issei and giving him a hug. Gabriel. We will be together forever no matter where. Issei. For now let's live life as it is and when that time comes we will know. Gabriel broke away from Issei's embrace and gave him one of his beautiful smiles. They were both there for a moment until they decided to continue. The day went by quickly because of so many things they did. They were both in the house and Gabriel guided him to his room. Gabriel. Issei, I love you with all my life and that is why I wish to be one with you. Issei. But. Gabriel. I'm not going to fall since I went to one of my brother's laboratory and well, I took away one of his devices so as not to fall. I invented it not long ago. And if it doesn't work it doesn't matter as long as it's with you. Issei. Gabriel, I love you for who you are, not for your appearance, not for how some people think. If it were like that, you would have already realized it. Gabriel. I know. And tell me you like my outfit. It's the first time I've used something like this. Having a little shame. Issei. No matter what you wear, you look beautiful in whatever you wear. Gabriel smiled at him and sat close to him and then gave her a kiss which Issei reciprocated and took her by the waist and laid her on the bed. Gabriel. Be gentle with me. Stretching her arms. Issei just smiled at her and approached her. The next day Issei was in her room since she decided to do it at night with the person she was going out with. For him it was fine, so he decided to investigate a little about how things were going. The afternoon arrived and Issei was walking down the stairs in a suit. And he noticed that there was no one, maybe he decided that way. Later she came down in a beautiful dress. Prince. You like it, Issei? You know my answer and of course you do. Prince. I asked the others to leave us alone since I wanted to stay at home, it's better to be here. Follow me. Walking to the patio and leaving Issei was surprised as there was a table with food and various arrangements. Issei. That's why you asked me not to go out. Prince. That's right and tell me you like it. Issei. Coming from you this is unique. Prince. You're thinking about my past, aren't you? Issei. The truth is. Well, you were a bit annoying. Prince. I changed because someone hit me so hard that it made me realize that I'm not that strong. And well, I was curious about you and over time that feeling grew. Issei. You're more affectionate now. Caressing both cheeks. Prince. I'm letting you do this because it's a unique day. Issei just smiled and after that he took her to the table and they both ate while talking about trivial things. Later she guided him to her room and sat him on her bed. While she was changing. Later she came out and sat near Issei. Prince. You like it, Issei? I haven't seen you in that suit for a while. Prince. Before I didn't mind being seen with it, but when I just got here I used it once and well they only bothered me, so I stopped using it on my missions. And I'll only use it on you. Issei. I see and it looks very good on you. Prince. Thanks but less talk and more action. Throwing himself on Issei. The next day Issei was together Aphrodite, they were both at a medieval party. Aphrodite. I'm glad you're still here. Issei. I didn't know about this. Aphrodite. Every year they do these holidays. I always come with my friends and well this year I wanted to come with you. Issei. I see. So let's have fun, there's a lot to do. Aphrodite gave him a smile and they both began to walk seeing various places. Issei was amazed by what he saw and how things were before. Aphrodite just looked at Issei with a smile since she liked to see him like that. She didn't pay much attention to her surroundings since she lived at that time. Later she had rented a tent and took Issei there. Aphrodite. Tell me you like me. Issei. I never thought I would see this, it's great, thank you for bringing me. Aphrodite. No problem. You want to see how I used to dress before at that time. Issei just nodded and with that she changed her outfit from that time. Aphrodite. You like it, Issei? You look beautiful. But you came out like that. Aphrodite. Not to the human world since back then they thought that if you dressed like that they thought you were a witch. He approached Issei and sat on her lap. Aphrodite. The only one I want to see me is you. Issei. And so it will be, your beauty is unique like the others. Aphrodite just pulled Issei onto the bed and gave him a big kiss. The next day Issei was outside the house with a smile, remembering the days where he had fun with his loved ones. Just then someone came out. Astrid. I've been waiting for this moment. She said it with great joy. Issei. Where are we going? Astrid. I had planned to take you to see several places in Asgard, but with your fame we wouldn't have much time. So we'll go to the pool, there's a nice place in Spain. Issei. You're in charge. Astrid took Issei's arm and they both left the place. When they arrived they both went to change. Issei attracted a lot of attention for his physique and some of his scars. The girl was going to go talk to him but stopped when she saw Astrid holding her hand. The boys had a nosebleed when they saw her because of how beautiful she was. The partners of those boys got angry and beat them. They both didn't take any notice of their surroundings. Then they both went to the pool and played while throwing water on each other. The boys didn't debate looking at her at that Issei let out a sigh and stood up. At that he grabbed Astrid's shoulders. She was surprised to see that, but she didn't say anything. Issei gave her a big kiss. Astrid felt Issei's lips and she reciprocated. When the boys saw that, they got upset and left. Astrid. And that's because it was. Issei. I don't like the way they look at you. What I did bothers you. Astrid. Otherwise I'm happy. I am only yours and no one else's. Giving him a smile. Seeing her, Issei also returned it to her, but seconds after she threw water in her face and Issei returned it to her. Hours passed and they both had fun until night came and Astrid had rented a room at the hotel. Upon entering the room, Issei was about to say something, but she threw herself on top of her, causing them both to fall to the floor. Astrid. I always dreamed of this moment. I love you, Issei. Issei. Me too. At that, they both kissed and spent the night like that. Issei was leaning against the wall of his house until someone opened the door. Enemu. It's finally my turn to be with my beloved. Giving Issei a hug. Issei. Where do you want to go? Enemu. I really don't know. What matters to me right now is being with you. Since I don't know when I will have this opportunity. Issei. Just tell me when you want to go out. Enemu. It's not as easy as you think. But let's put that aside and let's walk. Issei took her hand and they both began to walk through the streets. Enemu. These have been very calm days. I wish they would always be like this without wars. Issei. There will always be them, the only thing one can do is postpone it. Enemu. Tell me, Issei, why you didn't want Gabriel or Serafal to reincarnate you before. Issei. The truth is that it will feel strange to me since I would stop being someone who fights to go far. Enemu. I see. Issei. Also, if I had become an angel I would have fallen quickly since well, I let myself be easily guided by my emotions and if the advice had been too much, I would have killed myself by inventing a pretext. Enemu. And because you don't like being a fallen one. Issei. I feel like I would have a lot of problems with a leader. Enemu. You're talking about lazy Azazel, no. But you're right. Issei. Tell me Penemu because you fell. Enemu. You know I've never told anyone why. But you are special to me and I will tell you. The reason why I fell was out of curiosity. Issei. What? Enemu. I saw how humans had relationships and well I watched more and more until I fell. Issei. I see. Now I understand why no one knows. Enemu. They'll think I'm just some random guy who likes that and men will bother more than normal. Issei, I have never been with someone, I always kept my distance from them. There will always be rumors about me. Having a sad face. Seeing that, Issei didn't know what to say since he always looked happy at her or liked to joke. At that Issei took his hand. Issei. I will take care of those rumors, I promise. Enemu. I don't want you to get in trouble. And it doesn't matter, I'm used to it. Issei. I don't care about the problems, I will eliminate all that problem, no one has that right to call a pretty and kind woman like that. Enemu. Issei, I love you very much. Giving her a hug for the words she said. She looked around her and didn't see anyone, so she activated a magic circle and they both teleported away. Issei looked around her and noticed that it was a room. At that Penemu changed her clothes. Enemu. I wanted to wait until later, but hearing your words I couldn't take it anymore. I want to be with you. Enemu. You like it. Issei had his mouth open at her beautiful figure and most importantly for him, her smile. Issei. You are beautiful no matter what you wear. Enemu didn't say anything else and went to him. Where they both spent day and night. The next day Issei was in the park since they asked him to go there. Irina. Sorry for being late. Issei. It's okay and because up to this point I could wait for you at the house. Irina. This is where we used to play as children and well I wanted to go back to those happy times. Issei. You will dress as a boy again. Irina. Removing that part. Issei. Ha 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 you liked dressing like that, didn't you? Irina. Well, I didn't like dolls and stuff. She said it with some shame. Issei. I know you were much better than me at soccer or another sport. Irina. I will always beat you at everything. Well, exactly one thing. Issei. And that would be. Irina. But you can fight at a level that I can't even imagine. Issei. Irina, if you set your mind to something, you must fight for it. Irina. That was one of the reasons why I became an exorcist before. She wanted to be strong so she could protect you. Issei. Since you left my life has changed a lot. I was alone with no one. Irina. I trained day by day to be strong and come back to be with you, but when I did I got that surprise of how you had changed. You saved me that day. Issei. It was my duty. Protect my loved ones. Irina. Well, let's leave the memories aside and let's have fun. Raising your fist. Issei did too. At that point they both went to play as they did as children. For Irina, those moments were unique since she wanted to return to those times of joy. Hours passed and they were both resting. Issei. It's been a great day. Irina. It felt like when we were kids. Tell me Issei, do you plan to have children? She said it with some sadness. Issei. The truth is, but with time, Eri and Liz's will have someone to play with. The bigger the family, the happier it is. Irina. I see, I'm glad to hear that. Issei. Tell me Irina how you felt knowing that your friend joined the enemy. Irina. Zenobia has changed since she joined the Gremory group. That group changed her completely over time, we grew apart until we no longer spoke. Issei. I see. And if you had to fight her, Irina, I would give my all to defeat her. Once she makes a decision, she no longer has salvation. I love her, but that path she took changed her. Issei. Don't go overboard by putting so much pressure on yourself. If something happens, call me. Irina. Okay. It's too late. At that she stood up and extended her hand to Issei. Just by taking it, they both teleported to Irina's house. Irina. I'll be back soon, yes. Issei. Okay. A few minutes passed and then Issei heard music and suddenly Irina came out dancing. Irina. I've been practicing for this for a while. Giving Issei a big smile as she danced. Issei didn't know what to say since she looked very beautiful. After a long dance Irina finished. Irina. Issei, today I will show how much I love you. Issei. You don't need to do that. I loved you since I was little Irina. Irina. But I still want to do it. I want to be one with you. Issei hugged her and then took her into her arms and carried her to the bed. Irina only caressed Issei's cheek while she walked since she was waiting for that moment and thanks to Gabriel, she will be able to achieve it. Irina. We will never be separated from you Issei. Issei. I will do my best to make everyone happy. That's when they both arrived at the room. The next day Issei was at the movies. Kuroka. I was looking forward to seeing this movie and more with you. Issei. The others told me that you like to watch movies very often. Kuroka. Since you brought us that time, it caught my attention. And from that day on I started seeing some with the girls. Issei. I'm glad. Kuroka leaned on Issei's shoulder and they continued watching the movie. At the end they went to eat since it was a little late. Issei. Kuroka, you still haven't told me how you feel knowing about your sister. Kuroka. The truth is when Serafal told her it hurt me a lot and I went to my room. And I don't want to go out since it hurt me. But the girls came and tried to get me out of the room and eventually they succeeded and they consoled me. Issei. Forgive me if I couldn't help that time. Kuroka. Don't blame yourself, plus you were busy too. I tried to talk to her one time we crossed paths, but she just attacked me. Issei. I'll help you with whatever I can, don't worry. Taking Kuroka's hand. Kuroka. Thank you. I'm glad I met you. Issei was about to say something, but then some boys arrived at her table and sat down without saying anything, one on each side of Kuroka. Issei. Excuse me but this table is busy. She said it calmly since she didn't want any problems on her date. Better go effeminate. Nobody wears their hair like that anymore. And you're dull, why don't you come with a real man? She was about to touch her hair, but Issei grabbed her hand. Issei. Don't you dare touch my kitten because if she doesn't kill you I will. The other boy, upon seeing that, hit Issei in the face, but the one who got hurt was him since his hand hurt. Kuroka. If you dare to touch him with those dirty hands, maybe you want to die. She said it was very upset since they were ruining everything. The boys, seeing them upset, just smiled and at that one of them snapped his fingers at her and from one moment to the next, several of those who were sitting there stood up. And others better left the place to avoid problems. You messed with the wrong people. We rule this place. And if we want something we have it. Especially if she is this girl. Issei. Sorry Kuroka. Our date was ruined. Kuroka. Okay. If they want to fight, we will give it to them. Giving Issei a smile. For her part, he returned it and released the boy. He left with the others and ordered them to beat Issei. Issei and Kuroka looked at each other and nodded and not even 2 minutes passed when everyone was on the ground with several bruises and broken bones. They are monsters. Running from the place. Kuroka just laughed watching her run away. Issei. We're leaving since she'll be back soon. She nodded and they both left the place and began walking through the streets since the weather was good. Kuroka. It was fun, it's the first time we fought together. Issei. Well I only take dangerous missions and well I don't want you to get hurt. Kuroka. We know but we'll still go with you. Issei. I know. But I'm going to take care of them. Kuroka just took Issei's arm and they continued on their way. Later they arrived at a hotel and Kuroka left Issei in the living room since she had a surprise for him. Minutes passed and that's when I called him. Issei entered the room and was surprised. Kuroka. Yusaka told me that you like it better this way. Having a pose on the bed and with the ears and tails sticking out of it. Issei. You look very pretty. Kuroka. This kitten has misbehaved and she needs to be punished. Issei. I realize that. I won't be very kind. Kuroka. For my best. Giving Issei a seductive smile. He just took off her clothes and went against her. The next day Issei was outside his house until someone came out. Yukin. You're ready dear. Issei. Sure but where are we going? Yukin. To a place I've always wanted to go with you. Issei. Okay let's go. They both teleported from the place. Seeing the place, Issei was surprised since it was a combat arena. Issei. I think you were wrong. Yukin. Of course not. Summoning his weapon. Yukin. I want to know how strong I am and what better rival than you. Plus I want to give my all. Issei. You don't prefer to do anything else. You can. I'm more of an action guy. If you beat me I will give you a reward. Issei. And if I lose? You can. I won't give you anything. Issei. If so, I will give my all to win. Taking attack position. Yukin just smiled and went to attack Issei, wanting to hit him in the face, but Issei easily stopped him. Yukin started to cast several spells, but Issei evaded them all. Yukin. This won't be so easy. Activating his armor and going faster against Issei. At that she connected her fist with Issei's face, but he didn't even move an inch. Issei. I know you can give more. Yukin. Show me. Without warning Yukin was sent flying by a blow that Issei gave him. When hit, a part of her armor had been destroyed. Yukin. How serious is the abyssing damage? Abyssing? It was a very dangerous blow. You better stop playing games and go all out. Yukin. You know I give my all. But you know who Issei is. Abyssing? It's true. He is capable of destroying planets without difficulty. You have it difficult. If I were you I would give up. Yukin. Wow, it shows that you support me. Abyssing. I'm just telling the truth. Yuni had better not respond and went on the attack using more of her power. In that she used one of her abilities, being a great whirlwind of wind. But Issei didn't even move from the spot. Issei thoughts. You are strong Yukin, you have improved a lot since the last time I saw you fight. Putting on a smile and punching Yukin as she appeared from behind him. Issei. You will give up now. Yukin deactivated her armor and saw Issei with a pout. Yukin. It's not fair. Issei approached her and caressed her cheeks. Issei. You look so cute doing that. It's the first time I've seen you do it. Without missing the opportunity she took out her camera from her bracelet and took a photo of her. Yukin. Hey, give me that. Issei. Nope. This will go for the family album. Yukin got up and tried to take the camera from Issei, but nothing. They ran for a bit until she got tired and gave up. At that Issei returned and gave him a bottle of water. Issei. I still remember the day we met, you were very angry and I didn't even greet you. Yukin. She wasn't used to fighting with other people except men, since they only talk nonsense. But you didn't even talk to him afterwards. Issei. You wanted your space and I gave it to you. Yukin. After seeing how you fought that dragon, you shocked me even more by defeating Lucina without much difficulty. Issei. I didn't like his language, but now it's different. They talked for a long time until it got a little late. At that Yukin took Issei's hand and they were both teleported to her room. At that she threw herself on the bed. Yukin. Come claim your prize. Issei just smiled at her and went with her. The next day Issei was walking through the underworld. Issei. It looks quiet here today. Graphia. Maybe you like problems. Issei. It's not at all because there are always many people. Graphia. It's better this way. Issei. Tell me Graphia how well you got along with your brother. Graphia. Since we were very little we were not so close since we always served the Lucifer family and my brother was in charge of taking care of the Mayu son. Issei. I see. Graphia. And it changed more as time went by. She became more arrogant and when the war ended she left with Rizivim as she wanted her dream to come true. Issei. You have no attachment to him. Graphia. A little since he is my only family but he wants to be with him better. Issei. I understand. Now leaving that topic that you want to do. Graphia. It's the first time I have a date and well I have no ideas. So he left it to you. Issei. Okay. Give me your hand. She extended her hand and in that instant they both teleported, appearing on the top of a large mountain with a unique view. Graphia. It's a nice place. Issei. On one of my missions I found it and from time to time I come here to think a little. Graphia. Issei, you are going to do another mission to another dangerous place. Issei. I don't know. You want me not to go. Graphia. I don't like that you put yourself in danger, but with your help you can save many people. So I can only tell you to be careful and don't get into trouble. Issei. You should know that I always get into trouble sometimes by accident hahaha. Call me Graphia because everyone thinks you're Surzich's wife. Graphia. After the war many families wanted their daughters to marry him. Since he was very strong but he loved another person and she was not a noble. Over time they married secretly, only his family and his closest friends were there. Years passed and no one found out about it. Until they had Milikas, but then she got sick and I saw how bad he was, so I decided to support him like the queen she was. Since we were great friends. So we planned to pretend to be a couple and say that Milikas was my son. Issei. Wow. But now that it will happen, that's good. Graphia. Surzich knows about my feelings towards you and he said that he would soon tell the truth since his wife is feeling better and better. Plus I don't like having to keep in mind that I like someone. Issei. You know I don't care what they say about me. For me everyone could know. Graphia. Same from me. But you know how most demons are since they don't want to lose their lineage they will do anything. Issei. If they try something, they must accept the consequences. But those old people must have learned by knowing what happened to the old people. Grafia. His pride is greater than fear. Issei. If they try something they should know the consequences of messing with their family. Grafia. I hope they don't do anything, I don't want more people to hate you. Issei. I don't care about that. But they won't do anything. Grafia. Issei, let's go to my house. Issei didn't say Ada and they both left the place. When he arrived, Grafia guided him to his room and with a magic circle he changed his outfit. Grafia. You're the only person who will see me dressed like this. Do you like it? Issei. You look very cute in that costume. Grafia. Come. Issei without thinking twice went with her. Having a long day and night. The next day Issei was on a bench waiting. Leviana. Sorry for making you wait. Issei. Okay. And what do you have planned? Leviana. There is a place I wanted to go for a long time, but I didn't have time, let's go. Issei nodded and Leviana took her hand. They took a taxi and went to the video game room. Issei. I didn't expect this from you. Leviana. They are one of the few things I like to do in my free time. I didn't surprise you. Issei. Quite the truth. I never had the opportunity to play these things so I'm in your care. Leviana. Just because he's my boyfriend, I won't let myself win. Issei. Dear, you should know that I learn quickly. So be careful and don't get careless. Leviana was a little scared at that since Issei was right. And that they both went to play at the beginning Leviana beat Issei mercilessly, but as they progressed Issei improved and got closer every time. Leviana. I'm bored, let's play something else. Issei. Are you coming? I didn't know you ran away easily. She then turned around and saw Issei with a serious face. Leviana. Maybe you are provoking me and if so you should know that you succeeded. Issei. Then come. Leviana upon hearing that went against Issei ready to beat him in all the games they had. Minutes passed at the beginning she was winning, but then she started to lose. Upon noticing this, she began to bother Issei so that he would lose, but she was of little use since Issei was still focused on his own thing. Later they had finished and Leviana was pouting because she had lost. It was adorable for Issei to see her like that. After that Issei gave her a big smile that Leviana didn't like. Issei. Well. Leviana. And well. Issei. Tell me who won in the end. Leviana. It's just beginner's luck, don't get excited. Hearing that, Issei started to laugh. Issei. Okay. Do you want to go eat something, it's late. Leviana nodded and with that they both went to a small restaurant since they liked quiet places better. Issei. Now that I remember what happened with Vali and his team. Leviana. You still don't know what happened, right? Issei. I know very few things since I came back. Leviana. He joined the Cows Brigade again. Issei. Wait, Lefei didn't tell me about that. Lefei. She tried to talk to her brother but he didn't want to. He gave her a choice. Him or you. And the result was a fight. Issei. I see. Leviana. Don't blame yourself Issei, it's not your fault. He has always been very annoying. Or Vali. Issei. Speaking of which. Someone once told me that you and Vali were very close. Leviana. Yes, it was fun to bother him. Issei. At first I thought they were couples. Leviana. And who is that someone who told you about that? Issei. Azazel. Leviana. I see. While inside she told herself to hit a crow. Azazel was in her laboratory until he felt a chill. Leviana. We never had that kind of relationship. I just like to bother him. Issei. Can I ask a question? Leviana. Go ahead. Issei. Because me. Leviana. What do you mean? Issei. What attracts them to me? Since well it only caused problems and I'm no big deal. I've wanted to know that for some time but for the fun of it I forgot. Leviana. It was your actions. You did things no man would do for other people. You go on the attack without knowing if you will come out alive. Each one of us loves you for who you are. It doesn't matter if you are rich or poor. We love you for who you are. Issei. Thank you for telling me. Leviana. No problem and when you want to hear it again tell someone else and they will tell you the same. Issei. I understand. Well, what do you want to do now? You want to go play again? Leviana. I'm already bored of those games. There is one I want to play. Issei. Which one? Leviana just gave him a smile and took Issei's hand and they both walked for a few minutes until they reached her old house. Leviana left Issei in the living room and minutes later called him. Upon entering the room he was surprised by what he saw. Leviana. Let's play to see who can last the longest. Giving him a seductive smile. Issei just smiled and went to her with the intention of winning. The next day Leviana was waking up and saw next to her and Issei was not there. Leviana. In the end I lost. Because he has so much stamina and he's done it with many girls. But it doesn't matter, I liked it. I hope we judge another time. At that she barely got up and went to take a bath. Meanwhile Issei was outside the house until someone hugged him from behind. Mikishin. Ready for our date. Issei. The truth is. And what are we going to do? Mikishin. I found a place you like. He summoned his staff and then they both teleported. When Issei arrived he was surprised at where they were. Issei. This place. Mikishin. One day by chance I was looking at places and found this one. It is similar to the previous one where we met. Issei. And where you almost killed me. Mikishin. You still haven't forgotten that, right? Issei. Never. But it doesn't matter, I like it. Mikishin. It's been fun being in this world. Issei. I'm glad to hear that. Mikishin. The day we arrived Eri-chan showed us the house and told us some things. Issei. What things? Mikishin. If we hurt you we would see her. She looked very cute with her serious face. Issei. She is a great girl. Mikishin. We still couldn't hurt you. If you beat me once you might as well do it again. Issei. Nobody knows. Mikishin. I can't do anything. I will defend those two girls, they are very cute. Since it is the first time I have a family. Issei. I'm glad to hear that it will make you very happy like the others. Mikishin. I know you will. You are a unique person. But let's leave that topic aside and move on to action. Since I have been waiting for this day for a long time. Back to the true appearance of her. Mikishin. You don't like it like that. Issei. You look very pretty. Mikishin. I hope you have a lot of energy for me. Since you've been very busy. Issei. If it's for you, I'll do my best. Mikishin. I hope so. And that she created a barrier so as not to be interrupted. It was a long day and a short night where they both fell asleep early. Issei was waking up early and got out of bed and watched Mikishin sleeping with a smile. Just then the portal opened and Issei, seeing that, was curious and entered. As he did so he saw Chichigami on his throne. Issei. Something happened that made you call me. Chichigami. I wanted to talk to you about something important. Rising from his throne and going with him. Chichigami. You know Issei, I have always loved you. Because of your way of being and acting. You are not like the other people I have seen. When I found out what happened that you were going to die I felt very bad. I shouldn't have sent you there. Looking down from him and letting out a tear. Issei approached and lifted her face and she could see a smile. Issei. Don't blame yourself and you know thanks to you I have great friends. Even if I can't see them for a while. But it does not matter. I wish you to be happy just like the others. I thank you for everything you have done for me. Giving her a hug. They stayed like that for a few minutes until they separated. After her she gave him a smile. Chichigami. I'll take you to my favorite place. Creating a portal and both entering. At that they both changed their outfits. Chichigami. You like it. Issei. You look very pretty and so does this place. Chichigami. Here I come when I want to think. You're the first person I've brought here. Taking a seat on the floor near Issei. At that point they both lay down to watch the clouds and how the waves flew away in the breeze. Chichigami. Issei, I want that too. She told him in a whisper that Issei heard but she pretended not to. Issei. What a thing. Chichigami. Don't play dumb, I know you heard me. And well I want to be with you forever and I want that. Issei. You're not forcing yourself, right? She just denied and sat on him and gave him a kiss which he reciprocated. And so having a great time. The other dates passed with great joy for both of them and Issei giving her surprises at the end, each one had her idea. I was going to make a quote for each one, but there is an image limit and well that's it until there. I hope you like this chapter because it is the longest one I've ever made. Very soon the adventures are coming again. Chapter 189. 2 days after the appointments, the girls were all at home with great joy for what they had experienced. Both girls, noticing this, asked. Eri. Brundthold Kachan something happens because they are so happy. Brundthold. Your father came out with us these days and we had a great time. Liza. Ani-chan is very funny. Enemu? You're right it is. Eri. And where is Tu-chan? Belfast. She went to the supermarket for some things, she will be back. Liza. Okay. We will go to the patio. Belfast nodded and both girls left. Prince. When we repeated. Serafal. It will be in a long time. We had to suspend our duties in order to rest. Who knew? But it was great. Claire. Nobody is going to deny you that. Isaka. I lost consciousness quickly since he knew how to look for my weaknesses. Margarita. And the worst thing is that he is as always. Leviana. What is his secret for not getting tired so easily? Hiroka. During our dates we told him about everything that's going on. Lefei. If Ani-sama tries something with Issei, I don't think she will be safe. I don't know why she decided to take that path again. Griselda. Now leaving the bad things aside. What will we do now? Mocha. Since I was the last one, I asked her what she was going to do next. Office. What he told you. Mocha. I would be here for a while and then she would leave since she promised Chichigami to do something. Grafia. If so, we have to plan something since we won't see him for a while. Yasuke. Work can wait a little longer. First, the most important thing is to be with our partner. Leviana. Before he comes back I'll go do something. Vados? And that would be. Laviana. I have accounts with a crow. Getting up and teleporting to Grigori. Minutes later Issei was returning to the house with all of her purchases. The days passed and Issei spent all his time with his family. The girls did not go out since they would not see him for a while. They went to several places together and at night they watched movies as a family. One day at night Issei said goodbye to all the girls. Since he didn't like to see the girls' sad faces. Irina. Be careful where you go. Issei. And why doesn't someone come with me? Vados. If we go with you we can cause more problems. And being alone you can hide better. Just like you did in the big tournament that you almost didn't fight. Issei. I see. Please take care of yourselves and if something happens tell Chichigami. So I come and do what I can. Griselda. Issei, we are not weak, we can defend ourselves. Issei. I know. Giving them one last smile and leaving the place. When he left the portal, Chichigami gave him a hug. Chichigami. Are you sure? You should know that I won't know where you're going. Issei. I'm sure. Don't worry. Chichigami. Okay, I wish you luck. Giving her a kiss and then she opened the portal and Issei said goodbye to her with a smile. Issei came out of the portal and looked around her. Issei. What was that jutsu like? She closed her eyes to think until she remembered. She made hand seals and activated an appearance-changing jutsu. Issei. This way I avoid problems a bit. Just taking a step I hear a noise not far from there. Out of curiosity she decided to go to the place and after a few seconds she arrived and was surprised because there was an angel there, all injured. Issei. You feel fine. A human. Issei. Don't talk, you're very hurt. Why aren't you surprised to see me? Since she had her wings spread. Issei. I know some angels too. And tell me what happened to you. The consequences of war. Issei. What war? The one between the angels, the fallen and demons. Hearing that, Issei was surprised. It's no use for me to lie. It's been a long war and I've come this far. What is your name? Issei. Igarashi Issei. I see. Igarashi-san, please leave here, it is very dangerous, especially if you run into the demons, they are very ruthless, especially with humans. As she began to disappear. Issei. I can't do that. I'll stay here until you can rest. The angel just gave him a smile and a few minutes later he had completely disappeared. Issei. I think Serafal told me about that war once. But I can't do much, there are things that shouldn't be changed. She was about to leave, but she felt like he was surrounded and just like the angel said they were demons. We arrived late, we couldn't get information from him. But in exchange we have a human that will be of some use to us. I'm tired, do it so we can go faster. And how they tortured him. While everyone had big smiles. For his part, Issei still didn't see them since they weren't worth it. The demon activated a lightning spell and threw it at Issei. And when he was about to hit Issei with his hand, he deflected it by hitting a fellow demon. At that Issei turned around with a look that meant death. The demons were a little scared when they saw that, but his pride did not let them escape. Issei without wasting time went against them, hitting each of them, killing them instantly. In the end there was only one left, and when he saw Issei coming towards him, he was about to teleport away. Issei grabbed him by the neck. Issei. Let's see what your words were. I remember and they were how we tortured him. Damn human. Issei. Tell me who sent them. Rot. Putting on a smile. Seeing that, Issei also gave him a smile that the demon didn't like at all. At that Issei raised a finger and a small blood red sphere formed and he threw it at his leg. Then the leg began to disappear and the demon could only scream in pain. Issei. Even though your leg has been erased, the pain will remain there. Shout whatever you want but you won't leave here until you speak. Well, I'll talk. Our leader is Mao Lucifer and he sent us to look for that angel to get information from him. Issei. I see. What do you gain from this senseless war? Just to show the demons are more powerful than any race. Issei. How stupid. I will leave you alive but with that memory that I gave you. And tell your 4 leaders. How do you know there are 4? I only gave you one name. Issei. I know many things, demon. And tell your leaders that Igarashi Issei will end this stupid pointless war. You a human end the war, don't make me laugh. Just by having that poor power you think you can defeat us and the other 2. Issei. You just take care of giving the message. Never underestimate humans, they can give you many surprises. At that point he released the demon and he created a magic circle, leaving the place quickly. Issei for his part just let out a sigh. Issei. It will be a long time. Although in part it will be great since I will be able to see younger Gabriel, Penemu and Serafal. Good thing I brought the camera. And with a smile he left the place so as not to have any more problems. Chapter 190. When the demon arrived at the castle, the guards saw him but were surprised by his condition since he did not stop dying of pain. I have to give the report to Lucifer-sama. Trying not to scream from the pain but it was impossible. Both guards took him by the arms and led him to the throne room where the 4 masks were. Lucifer. How dare you bother me right now? "We are sorry Lucifer-sama, but this explorer brings news." Lucifer saw the soldier and noticed that he was suffering from pain, but he didn't take it into account. "Leviathan. Which is so urgent. My group and I went to stop the angel, but when we arrived he was no longer there. But there was a human there. Albium. And that he has. That human took out my entire squad without much difficulty. He does not possess magic. Beelzebub. A human with those qualities is interesting. Find him and bring him." "Lucifer. You heard. He is also called Igarashi Issei and will end this war." Everyone started laughing at what they heard when they heard that. "Leviathan. Stop playing games and don't make up nonsense." "Lucifer. Better go and bring it." "Sir, I can't do much, your leg hurts. I use a very strange skill and the pain doesn't go away." "Lucifer. I see. You two tell another team to look for that human." They both nodded and left. "Lucifer. Well you. Creating a black sphere of power and throwing it at the demon." "Lucifer. I don't want weaklings." Turning around and continuing with the meeting. A few days had passed since the demons started searching for Issei, and in all their searches only one came back with the same message. Lucifer, upon hearing all this, began to get upset and sent elite troops to kill Issei. For his part, he was walking through a forest until he heard an explosion and without wasting time he went to the place. When he arrived he was very surprised since a group of fallen people surrounded an angel with several wounds. Without wasting time, he went against them with sword in hand and killed them in an instant. Issei approached her and got down on his knees and took out a hermit seed from his bracelet. "Issei. Trust me, yes. This will help you feel better." Giving me a smile. She saw Issei and saw no bad intentions, so she took it. In just a few seconds she was without any injuries. "Issei. Better not." "Gabriel. Yes and thank you very much. But how do you know about the supernatural?" "Issei. It was a long time ago that I found out. I have friends and family in it." "Gabriel. I see. Thanks for saving me." "Issei. Okay." Standing up and extending her hand to Gabriel, which she took. After that Issei started walking since she didn't want to interact that much. "Gabriel. Wait, what's your name?" "Issei. Igarashi Issei." "It's a pleasure, Gabriel." Without waiting for a response he began to run. "Gabriel. How do you know my name?" But that doubt he went to heaven. Issei thoughts. "It doesn't matter if it's past, present or future, I will always protect them. Plus you're still beautiful." With a smile on her face he followed her path. Days passed and now the three factions were searching for Issei. The demons to experiment on him and the fallen to kill him and the angels to ask for his help. Issei killed both the fallen and the demons and only left the angels unconscious. Increasingly many knew his name since he had killed several with just his fists. Issei was walking until he felt three very familiar presences and then a smile formed on his face and without wasting any time he went. When he arrived he climbed a mountain and took out his video camera and started recording. "Seraphol. This time I will win." "Enemu. Shut up, shorty." "Seraphol. What did you say, crow?" "Gabriel. Don't fight, father doesn't like fights." "Enemu Seraphol. Shut up, pigeon." She only felt sad hearing that. While Issei was a little surprised by how they treated each other before. "Issei. When I return I will talk to them." At that point the three realized Issei's presence. They hadn't done it before since they were fighting each other. They all set their sights on Issei and were surprised to see him since he was someone wanted. For his part, he kept his camera and greeted them with a smile. "Issei. Hello. Gabriel. Igarashi-san. We've been looking for him." "Issei. Sorry but I'm not going anywhere." "Seraphol. So you're that human everyone talks about." "Issei. It's no big deal." "Seraphol. Lucifer keeps bothering us to look for you." "Issei. And what will you do?" "Seraphol Citri." "Seraphol. How do you know my name?" "Issei. I know many things. Like your Penemu." "Penemu? Aha, don't talk nonsense." "Issei. I know how you fell." Hearing that, she was surprised and was going to say something, but Issei continued. "Issei. But I won't tell anyone, it's a secret that will go to the grave with me." "Gabriel. What do you really want?" "Issei. End this war. Many innocent people die from their actions, plus the humans who end up in crossfire." "Penemu. But, Issei. I've seen it with my own eyes." "And tell lazy Azazel to keep a close eye on his men. Since they are attacking villages and trying to take the women. I won't let anyone else die. And your Seraphol tell that Lucifer the same and also stop bothering him or I will go myself and kill him." "Gabriel. He is very powerful, even father has difficulty fighting him." "Issei. Anything is possible if you try hard. But leaving aside I wish that you three do not fight anymore." "Penemu. Because you say that." "Issei. I'm just saying that fighting doesn't bring anything good." It was a pleasure to see them. That's when she teleported and the three of them stayed there in silence for a while processing everything until they decided to leave. Issei was lying on a tree until someone spoke to him. "So you are young Igarashi." "Issei. I didn't think he would know you. What should I call you? Just tell me Elohim. Issei. I see, and what do you want? Elohim. What is your purpose? Issei. End this senseless war. Elohim. Because you get involved in this. Issei. You know that answer. But it's better to leave it at that and get to the point. Elohim. You are interesting. I won't ask any more questions since it's better if you don't know. Issei. It's fine and I wish you luck. Elohim just gave him a smile and left in a light. Issei. I didn't think I was going to meet Gabriel and Penemu's father. He turned around and continued on his way. During his trip, he saw several places that left him angry and also fighting, since they would not leave him alone. After a long fight he went to a nearby town and saw the sides and noticed a lot of happiness since they were at a festival. Issei just smiled when he heard that and just watched. Everything was ruined when two dragons launched great attacks that impacted the village, killing all the inhabitants. Seeing that, Issei was shocked because after so much joy there was now nothing. He angrily came out of the fire and saw two dragons in the distance that he knew very well who they were. Without thinking twice he took a big jump and took out his wings and went against her. When he was close to both of them, he hit each of them in the face, sending them flying away from there. Issei. You two are stupid. They just killed a lot of innocent people. Albion. They got into our fight. Heading up not very happy about the blow just like Dreg. Issei. That they got involved, you're not crazy. Oh, it's true, that could be expected from two brainless dragons. Dreg. You are being insolent, human. We are celestial dragons and no one has the right to get involved in our battles. Issei. I didn't intend to get into these battles, but I have no choice. Without warning he moved at a great speed that neither of them noticed. And then Dreg received a blow to the abdomen that sent him flying. Albion, seeing that, began to divide Issei's power, but it was impossible since he was going faster against him. When they were face to face, Albion only saw a serious face before being sent flying by the blow. Issei. They won't leave here without punishment from me. Seeing how both dragons got up and went against him. Chapter 191. Both dragons went on the attack using great skills, but Issei evaded them both without much difficulty. Dreg. You're going to fucking die. Shooting large flames of fire that Issei evaded. Albion. Perhaps you can only escape. Hearing that, Issei stopped. Issei. If they want to fight, so be it. Going at Albion and giving him a big blow to the face that crashed Albion to the ground. Dreg was surprised by his great strength but left the trance and went to the attack. Issei, seeing that, also went against him. Throwing water balls. But they hit Dreg squarely. Dreg. How come you're so strong? No human has such power, and also how you have those wings you are. Issei. You said it not long ago, I'm a human. Albion. Don't be kidding. Issei. What did he gain by doing that? Albion. I will kill you. Dreg, this will be the first and last time we will fight together. Dreg just nodded and they both went on the attack. Issei. Wood style. Wood golem jutsu. Making a large golem take the necks of both dragons. Issei. Kaiten gaku mikyaku. Giving both dragons a huge flare. Dreg. That's nothing. Both coming out of the golem's grasp. Issei. It's time to finish this. Attacking both of them and hitting each of them in the abdomen, causing both dragons to spit out blood from the pain. Albion. That did hurt me. It's time. Seeing Dreg on his side he just nodded and they took flight. Dreg. You're dead. Huffing out his chest and spitting out a large flame of blood-colored fire. Albion did the same, only he spat out a poison very deadly to his enemies. Albion. That's why we are feared. Dreg. That human was no ordinary person. They were about to leave, but Issei came out of both attacks with his clothes destroyed. Issei. It wasn't bad. Upon hearing that voice, both of them turned around and saw Issei without any scratches. One was about to speak, but Issei approached him and hit him several times, causing him to fall unconscious. Seeing that, Dreg was about to attack, but Issei went against him and hit him several times, causing him to fall to the ground. Dreg. Who are you? Issei. Igarashi Issei. And if another time I see you both doing such stupidity I won't let you live. I can forgive once and maybe a second but not a third. At that he jumped and left the place. Dreg couldn't do anything else and fainted. Issei just let out a sigh as he was getting tired from fighting so much in such a short time. But he put aside that tiredness since he had a lot to do. Days passed and then months passed where the three factions already knew Issei very well, both for his kindness on the part of the angels and how ruthless he was towards demons and fallen people. Issei was in front of several corpses as they continued to bother him. Issei. It's been a long day and today this ends. Starting to walk towards a specific place. After a few minutes of doing this he stopped and saw 6 people fighting 2 dragons. Issei. I didn't want to get involved but in the end I did. With no other option he started walking towards them. Those who were fighting felt a presence and turned around and were surprised to see Issei. Below him. You shouldn't be here. Issei. This must end and you know it very well. Lucifer. So you are that person who has caused me so many problems. Issei. You are very insistent. You know I don't really want to fight today. I've been fighting very often these days. Leviathan. And how do you plan to do it? You won't be able to take on all of us at once. Issei. Goodbye. At that Issei moved quickly and without wasting time he killed both dragons. The others were shocked by what he did. Issei. I'll tell them not to get into trouble. Now it's your turn. Azazel. I just wanted to stop these dragons, I had already made the decision to withdraw from this war. You killed many of my people. Issei. Then go. Without thinking twice Azazel left the place. Lucifer. You think you're a big deal just for killing those weaklings. Issei approached Lucifer and when he saw Issei he was going to hit him, but Issei stopped him. Issei brought his hand closer to Lucifer and used one of his abilities. Issei. Hakai. Making Lucifer disappear without much difficulty. Everyone was surprised and scared at the same time when they saw that. Seeing that, the three demons were about to leave, but Issei threw a powerball at them and killed them. Below him. You are not a normal person. Issei. I don't usually use these skills, but I'm a little tired. Like you. Below him. You noticed. Issei. They are the consequences. Below him. Yes, but I'm also old, hahaha. I know it's a lot to ask, but could you stop this war? Issei. I will do my best. Below him just nodded and was about to fall to the ground, but Issei took him in his arms. Below him. It was a long battle. I hope my children are not sad about my departure. Issei. They will always love you. Below him. Thank you for saying that. Issei just nodded and seconds later he closed his eyes. Issei carefully put his body on the ground and left as he felt many presences coming towards him. Without wasting time he left the place. Time passed and Issei helped stop the war and met many people such as one of her loved ones, Graphia, but he could only see her from afar since he did not have time. The years passed and the war ended. Without attracting attention, Issei could see how Surzich and the others became the new mass. Issei. For now everything is going well. Since I'm here it's time to take a trip, I want to see this world. And with that idea in mind of teleportation of the place. The years passed and Issei traveled to so many places and also changed his name and appearance many times to avoid attracting attention. He saw many friends die, but they made him happy and most of them died defending someone or because of old age. Issei watched the world progress and it surprised him. He also ran into Aphrodite on one of her trips to Greece. Issei remembered her telling him that she used to go to festivals. He didn't talk to her since he didn't want to draw more attention from her. Hundreds of years passed where Issei didn't even realize so many things he did. Until I come to the present. Issei was getting off a plane. Issei. I'm back Japan. With a big smile on his face he began to walk through the hallways and then took a taxi. Issei. I have to go see the director first. Since Issei was an exchange student. Minutes later he arrived at where his new academy would be and that was Chaos. Issei, after so many years of changing appearances, is now left with his true appearance, looking like a 17-year-old young man. Just with a new name. When he got out of the taxi he began to walk through the academy and attracted a lot of attention because of how elegant he looked. Since the students were on recess. Issei walked a little until he heard some screams and how they called some more people to one. Stop there, Haidu, Issei. When he heard that name he was surprised and looked for the boy and saw a young man with brown hair running for his life. Issei. This will be interesting. Returning to his path. After several minutes of talking, Issei left the academy and went to where his new home would be. The next day he put on his uniform and went to the academy where he attracted many glances but he didn't pay them any attention. When classes were about to start, he waited outside the door. Issei. Second year again. At that, the teacher let him in and Issei looked around and noticed the other version of him. Teacher. Introduce yourselves. Issei. My name is Shiba Tetsuyah, I'm glad I come from South Korea. I'm from Japan if you're wondering, but I went there for a while. I hope we get along well. Some may know that name, but I really wanted to use it. At that the girls raised their hands. Do you have a girlfriend? Issei. Yes. With just that answer the girls lowered their hands. The teacher had the now Tetsuyah sit in front of Issei. Tetsuyah. I hope we get along well. Issei. I say the same. Now that I know you have a girlfriend I can be your friend so you don't come for the girls here. Tetsuyah just gave him a smile for what he said and with that he started class. Where Issei paid little attention and Tetsuyah noticed that but he didn't say anything. Chapter 192. Classes had ended and Tetsuyah was about to leave the academy until he was stopped. Issei. And what brings you here again? You didn't like the other country. Tetsuyah. I missed home. Issei. I see. Tetsuyah. Many told me to stay away from you. Tell me why. Hearing that, Issei half laughed. Issei. Everyone knows I'm a big pervert. I like breasts. Tetsuyah. You're very sincere, I thought you wouldn't say that. Issei. It's better that you hear it from me than from others who talk nonsense. Tetsaya. I understand. Well, I'm leaving, I have things to do like tidy up my house. Issei just nodded and they went their separate ways. The days passed and the two became good friends. Although Tetsaya always laughed at how he fared with Issei when he tried to escape from the kendo club. Tetsaya. And yet you continue, you are persistent. The classes continued and at the end they both went home together. Issei. Hey, I have a date on Saturday, yesterday a girl asked me. Tetsaya. I'm happy for you. You must be well presented. Issei. Hey, you haven't told me what your girlfriend's name is. Tetsaya. Then I'll tell you right now, go home and prepare a plan. Issei without saying anything else. I accepted and left. The days passed and Tetsaya gave her some ideas for his date. Until the day arrived. Tetsaya for his part was at his house putting the photos of his family on the wall. Tetsaya. It's been hundreds of years already. I miss family. Taking a photo where everyone is gathered. After cleaning up a bit he went to the small library he had to read a little. The 2 days passed and Monday arrived. Tetsaya was on his way to the academy until in the distance he saw Issei walking with Rias. Tetsaya. So the time has come. They will be difficult times. He knew that Issei had a sacred gear and also who he would go on a date with. He decided to continue on his way so as not to think about it anymore. Days passed and he didn't ask any questions until he decided to. During the break they were both eating. Tetsaya. How was your date? Issei tensed upon hearing that and Tetsaya realized it since he knew the trainer left him a little traumatized. Issei. It was excellent. Tetsaya. I know you're lying so you better tell me the truth. Hearing that, Issei just let out a sigh. Issei. He just faked everything. She played with me. Tetsaya. I see. Issei. But thanks to that I met one of the most popular girls at the academy, Rias Gremory. You know she has big breasts. Tetsaya. I'm happy for you. Issei. I like you Tetsaya, you're like a brother I never had. Tetsaya. I say the same. Issei. That's why I'll tell you a secret. Tetsaya. Yes and what is it? Issei. I am a demon. Tetsaya, upon hearing that, feigned surprise but laughed afterwards. Issei. It's true, that woman I went out with on that occasion is a fallen angel. Tetsaya. Come on, don't tell jokes. Issei. Well, I'll show you. Tetsaya. And how? Issei. But you told me that our stats went up and we were stronger too. Summoning a red glove on his hand. Tetsaya, seeing that again, showed a surprised face. Tetsaya. Wow that's great. I can touch it. Issei just nodded and Tetsaya touched the glove and knew very well who would be in there. Tetsaya. I never imagined this would happen, really. It's great. Issei. I know. Now that you know, you'll have to join the club too or but you might erase your memories. Tetsaya. You should talk to your president first. Issei. The truth is, I insisted that he give me permission to tell him that we are demons. At first I don't take it very well, but after a long time I accept. Tetsaya. I see. Issei. And you remember the new student who comes from Italy. Tetsaya. You talk about Asia Argento. Issei. That's right. She is too. Tetsaya. Wow there are a lot of surprises, but it's great. Issei. Then let's go to the club so you can meet them. Tetsaya for his part just nodded and with that they both left. After a few minutes they arrived at the place and were let in. Tetsaya, as he did so, remembered the first time he entered that place and it was not very pleasant to say the least. Since with just their look they wanted to kill him. Only this time it was different. Rias. I see that in the end you did. Issei. At first he didn't believe me, but after I showed him the gauntlet he did. Rias. I understand. Well with that said I introduce myself. They are Rias Gremory, heir to the Gremory clan. And the ones here are Akeno Himejima, Kibayudo, Kaneko, and Asia. Asia. Hello Shiba-san. Tetsaya. Nice to meet you all. And please just call me Tetsaya. Now we will be friends. Everyone nodded and Tetsaya took a seat on one of the sofas and seconds later Akeno arrived and gave him a cup of tea, which Tetsaya gladly took. The days passed and Tetsaya got along well with everyone since they were very different from him as he had known them. Everyone was in the club until someone came in a big blaze of fire. Tetsaya thoughts. I still remember that day I felt so excited because I would fight an immortal being. Seeing how Razor came out and saw everyone with hateful faces. Tetsaya, for his part, did not pay attention to it and continued with his thing, which was reading a book. Rias sir. Rias come with me to the underworld I hate this place it stinks. Rias. That will never happen, I will always be here. Razor. Don't force me to use force. Issei. Hey, don't talk to Butchu like that. Having a serious face. Razor, upon seeing him, only gave him an annoyed face and did not respond. After that Razor continued to insist until Issei, annoyed, went against him. But Razor, seeing that, grabbed Issei by the neck and threw him against a wall. Tetsaya, upon seeing that, just let out a sigh and continued with his thing. He had no intention of interfering. Razor, seeing how carefree Tetsuya was going to go against him, but a magic circle was created from which Graphia came out. Tetsuya lowered the book and looked at her with a half smile. Tetsuya thoughts. She is still very beautiful although she is a little more serious. But that part of her makes her more beautiful. Graphia looked around and saw Issei against a wall injured and Tetsuya with a half smile, but she didn't pay attention to him. Graphia. Razor-sama. Please don't cause any more problems in this place. I come here with the option that if you are both willing to have a rating game. Rias without hesitation accepted. And Razor only laughed a little but in the end he accepted and in that he summoned his entire entourage to show off. Graphia after confiding that was about to leave but decided to ask. Graphia. What makes a human here stop knowing that they can't know about us? Rias. He is a friend of ours and he won't tell anyone. Razor. Ha 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 and you trust those inferior beings. He created a fireball and was about to throw it at her, but then he started to feel cold until he saw Graphia releasing a little of his aura. Razor just tried to come out when he saw how serious she looked and decided to attack. Tetsuya, thanks for the help miss. Graphia. The last thing we want is problems between families. And why does he look so calm since a few seconds ago he was going to be killed? Issei. I knew it wasn't going to happen. And if it happened it's because that's how it should have been. Graphia didn't say anything else and left the place. Razor just gave Rias a smile and also left the place. Tetsuya. I can tell he's worried. And what will they do? Rias. I will ask for a few days off since they are few and we will go to train. Tetsuya. I understand. I wish you luck, I won't go with you so we don't bother you. It's a little late so I'm going home. Issei said goodbye to his friend and with that Tetsuya left the place. Tetsuya. Big problems are coming for you. I wish you luck. Chapter 193. A few days had passed where Tetsuya didn't see anyone from the club since everyone was training. And without any other option he started training since he also wanted to improve. After that a few more days passed until he saw everyone from the club again. Tetsuya. How did it go? Issei. It was very difficult but we made great progress. Tetsuya. I'm happy for you and when the game is. Rias. Tomorrow night. Do you want to see it? Tetsuya. Why not? I will support them. Issei. You see, we are going to win in Butchu's name. Tetsuya just nodded and after that he left since it was late. The next day after school everyone was present in the club until the student council. Sona. Shiba Tetsuya, what are you doing here? Tetsuya. They invited me. Come on, I wouldn't cause problems. Rias. Let him be our friend. Sona just let out a sigh and didn't say anything else. After that she took Tetsuya away as the match was about to start. Tetsuya upon arriving at the place where he would watch the game was surprised to see several people present. Tetsuya upon seeing Serafel just smiled but she didn't say anything since the game was about to start. Just by taking a seat, Tetsuya could see that his friends had everything to lose. Tetsuya thoughts. You guys are strong, but you lack experience. And that chicken has much more than you. I hope you don't get in trouble later Issei. Watching how the battle began. And just as he said, at the beginning they were doing well but little by little they began to lose. Tetsuya, seeing that, just let out a sigh and got up from his seat. Sona. It's not over yet. Tetsuya. For me, yes. It's obvious who will win. I support my friends, but they are realistic, they lack experience. And with those last words he began to walk out. Some who were present heard that but did not pay attention. Minutes later and just as Tetsuya said Rias and his group lost. Ball Tetsuya, upon leaving the room, teleported to his house and began to meditate to increase his power. The next day Issei was on his way to school and when he arrived he did not see his classmates. Tetsuya just let out a sigh as it was going to be a long day. And at the end he headed to Issei's house. Where Asia opened the door since her parents were not there. When she saw Tetsuya she was surprised but she let it go since she knew what he was going for. When he got to her room he knocked on the door but she received no answer and without any other option she opened it. And as she did so she saw him sitting on the bed with a paper in his hand. Tetsuya. You should go. I see you care about her. Issei. They are weak. I don't know if I can. Tetsuya. You are weak because you think you are. But if you change your mind you can become very strong. Issei. How can I achieve that? Tetsuya. Give your all in battle. And when you no longer have the strength, try to remember why you fight. Issei. You're good at giving encouragement. Tetsuya. I'm glad it helped you. Seconds later Asia arrived and Issei told her about her plan and she accepted without any other option. At that he teleported. Tetsuya. See you later Asia, I have things to do. Asia. Be careful. Tetsuya just nodded and left the house. Just leaving he also teleported to the underworld and quickly went to the wedding place and when he arrived he saw Issei challenging Raider to a battle. Tetsuya. I wish you luck, friend. I know you can do it. Time passed and Surzich arrived and accepted the fight. Where both were teleported and began to fight. Issei without wasting time activated the armor. Tetsuya. You're fast so you could activate it. From what I know it took Hiro longer. Watching the battle with emotion. Seconds passed and Issei lost her armor, but she still continued fighting without losing her composure. At that he took out a flask with holy water and threw it at Razor, making him scream in pain. Tetsuya. Good idea. Seconds later Ravel arrived and defended his brother, and with that the battle ended. Tetsuya. In the end you did it and you also increased your power more. If you continue like this you will go very far. At that he got up and left the place. The next day Tetsuya returned to the academy and there he went to the club where everyone was. As he took he reminded you of one thing. Tetsuya thoughts. I think she will come soon. Issei. Hey Tetsuya, what do you have planned later? Tetsuya. Go to my house and read a little. Issei. Hey, you're very boring. Tetsuya. Believe me, I've already had a lot of fun and now it's time to relax. Well when I get back with my family I'm going to have fun hahaha. Issei. What kind of fun? Giving him a big perverted smile. Tetsuya just smiled at him and seconds later he punched him. Tetsuya. Private. Issei. Hey, that hurt me. Tetsuya. Train a little. I used a lot of force since you are a demon you felt almost nothing. Issei. Hahaha I'll also be a dragon later thanks to Drag. Tetsuya. Good for you. You will be strong. Well see you later I have things to do. He got up from his seat and left the place. Days passed where there was nothing interesting until Tetsuya went to the club and he was a little surprised to see two people with hoods. Issei. Hey Tetsuya, some exorcists came and we will have a duel with them since they insulted Asia. Tetsuya. I see. I just arrived and I was so surprised. And they are. Zenobia. I am Zenobia Quarta and this is my partner Shido Arena. He just nodded. Tetsuya didn't say anything else and with that the group went behind the club to have the battle where Issei and Kiba were going to fight. Tetsuya thoughts. How cute Arena looks. Too bad I couldn't see it on that occasion too. Letting out a sigh. Rias. Why do you do that if the fight hasn't started? Tetsuya. Your classmates are very trusting. But hey, I better go. Hineko. Senpai, you always leave in the middle of a fight. That's what he did last time. Tetsuya. I'm not a big fan of battles. See you tomorrow. Without waiting for a response he started walking towards the house. I know I'm going very fast but be patient as the good part is almost here. Days passed and Tetsuya noticed how his friends helped Kiba but he did nothing since he did not want to fight since he wanted a little rest. One day Tetsuya was walking the streets until he felt that the academy was locked down. Tetsuya. So that time has come. I'm curious to know how they'll do. And without further delay he teleported to the academy, appearing on the roof of the Kendo club. Tetsuya watched as Ria's group fought the Cerberus while Kakabiel watched. Tetsuya. I still remember that day. I was excited just like when I fought the chicken. Since they told me it was very strong. So I went all in. He told himself as much as he watched the battle. Minutes later Kiba and Zenobia arrived to help. Tetsuya was surprised that Kiba had gotten a sacred demonic sword there. Tetsuya. Now that I think about it, I don't know Ria's group very well. Until now I see what they are like. They have a future. While he watched the battle. Minutes passed and Tetsuya looked at the entire group tired and without any more magic and for his part he didn't even move since he had noticed Volley for a while. Then Volley descended, destroying the barrier and beating Kakabiel. Volley. You're weak. Tetsuya. He's still just as cocky. And it's the third time I've seen another one. We will all be like this. Volley was about to take Kakabiel away but he fixed his gaze on Tetsuya and was about to say something but Tetsuya beat him to it. Tetsuya. Bansho Tenin. Pulling Volley towards him and grabbing his neck. But not before making seals with his hand so as not to attract attention. Tetsuya. Don't go saying anything stupid. Or else the life of the strongest Hikaryukoi from both the past and blah 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 ends here. Volley. Who are you? I only feel a human aura in you. How do you have so much strength? Tetsuya. That doesn't matter to you. You better not say any of this to that lazy crow. Or else you will know the consequences and you would not like to see me upset. Once forgive someone like and support them. But in the end he betrayed me so you have been warned. Volley. Rod. It didn't end as Issei put more pressure and then gave the armor a light blow, destroying it into pieces. Volley didn't know what to say when he saw that. Albion was shocked by what he did. Volley. Albion do it. He came out of his trance and began to divide Tetsuya's power, but he was of no use. On the contrary, Volley began to scream from the power when he felt some very strange energies in his body and that was Tetsuya's power as much as his chakra kai and his spiritual power. Volley. What is happening to me, what is this? It hurts me. Tetsuya. You've never been told not to steal what's not yours. I would leave you like this, but I'm not as bad as you either. Using one of his Rinnegan abilities, he took all the power out of him and released Volley and he started coughing as he wanted some air. Volley. Who are you? How are you that strong? Tetsaya. Nobody important. And you already know what to do. Don't do any more stupid things or things will go badly for you. Bali was going to respond, but Tetsaya used Shinra Tensei and sent him flying, landing near the rest. The group saw where he left, but no one was there. Since Tetsaya was gone, Bali only activated his armor and found the place not very happy. They say. What the hell happened here? Bekeno. That doesn't matter. The good thing is that it's all over. Rias. The only thing left to do is rest. Sona called me and she is going to clean so you guys go rest. The group just nodded and everyone went to his house. Tetsaya, for his part, only arrived at his house and took a bath and went to rest since the next day he was going to have a day that he didn't like very much. Chapter 194. Tetsaya was in his seat with a large piece of clay on his desk and without thinking twice he divided it in two and began to work in silence. While he listened to how the parent supported his children. For his part, he didn't say anything and continued with his thing. After several minutes his work finished and the teacher passed by his booth and was surprised by his work. Since they were two girls in Santa suits. Teacher. Who are they? Tetsaya. Very important people to me. Taking both sculptures and leaving the room. I just doing it, I keep them on her bracelet so I can give them to her later. He walked a little until he reached the patio and since the weather was very good he decided to lie down for a while. He closed his eyes and minutes later someone woke him up. They say. Hey, get up. Tetsaya. What's wrong? They say. It's already late, it's time to go home. Tetsaya. I see. They say. Hey, tonight there will be a meeting with the other faction leaders, do you want to come? Tetsaya. That will be very important and I don't want to bother you. They say. Come on, it will be really boring. The others are also in favor. Tetsaya. Okay. See you outside the academy tonight because if I try to go in alone they won't let me. Issei just nodded and with that they both went home. Tetsaya, for his part, was thinking about what was going to happen that night. After a while night came and Tetsaya was where he said and seconds later the entourage arrived and everyone entered. They walked a little until they reached the living room. The only leaders were Surzich along with Grafia and Serafel. Tetsaya, for his part, went to sit in a more secluded place so as not to attract attention. Minutes later the other two leaders arrived with companions. Tetsaya, upon seeing Gabriel and Penemu again, just smiled since he had not seen them for a long time. Issei for his part just stared at them and Rias hit him on the head. Rias. Issei, control yourself. Most of those present stiffened a little when they heard that name. Sona. I notice you're nervous, something's wrong. Serafel. Nothing important. Sona. You're bad at lying, tell me. Serafel. The truth is I hadn't heard that name in years. Rias. It has some importance. Sona. I think I read about it once, but it wasn't a big deal. Azazel. Well, those books lie to you. At that time that person caused a great disorder. Issei. What he did and who they talk about. Azazel. During the war a human named Igarashi Issei came out who killed hundreds of fallen and demons and he did it with his own hands without the need for magic. Rias. Wait, how is that possible since you said he was human? Azazel. No idea how he got that power. It is for that reason that the demons wanted him to investigate his secret and my soldiers also thought the same. Michael. On our part, he didn't kill any of them, but he knocked them out so they wouldn't follow him. Azazel. I fought him once and was close to beating him. Tetsaya thoughts. You're not kidding. We never fought and we only met once and you ran away. Greg. I remember that person. Albion. I will never forget that day. Surzich. How they met him. Greg. First he beat us both up since we destroyed perhaps his people. Albion. And he was the cause of our death since with just one blow he killed us. When everyone heard that, they were surprised since they didn't know exactly Azazel since he was present, but he doesn't know what happened next. Michael. When we arrived we also saw a dead father. Maybe the Gabriel. He couldn't do it since he saved me on one occasion and I could tell that he wasn't a bad person. No one knew what to say when they heard that. Tetsaya, for his part, continued reading since he brought a book so as not to get bored. Azazel looked in his direction and was surprised to see something. Azazel. Hey your boy. What is your name? At that Tetsaya lowered his book. Tetsaya. Shiba Tetsaya. Because you ask sir. Azazel. I feel a very familiar energy in your bracelet. Tetsaya continued with his neutral face, but then he remembered who created her. Tetsaya thoughts. Oh that's true, Penemu told him that Azazel created her. Azazel. Allow me to see her. Tetsaya. No thanks, it's a gift from a very special person to me. So please don't insist. Azazel. Okay, but what are you doing here? Rias. He is my guest, he is a friend of ours. Surzich. Leaving this topic behind, we must continue the conversation. The others nodded and began to talk about Kakabiel's attack. Volvali wanted to kill Tetsaya with his eyes for what he put him through in the past. For his part, he continued reading calmly. Minutes later time stopped for the weakest. Tetsaya for his part pretended to be frozen so as not to arouse more suspicions. Riaz and Issei went to the club to save Gasper and Kaneko. While Vali fought against the magicians and Azazel against Kateria. The others were just observing the situation. Minutes later time continued and the leader's soldiers also went to the attack. Tetsaya continued reading him, leaving aside the side attacks and clashes of swords. Serafol saw Tetsaya and saw him in disbelief since he noticed that he was very calm despite the situation they were in. He was going to say something to her, but they heard a scream from Kateria and he continued watching the fight. Later all the enemies had been killed, as well as the leader demon who was Kateria. Azazel was about to say something, but then Vali hit him and said who he really was. Everyone was shocked upon hearing that. Tetsaya, for his part, didn't pay any attention to what he said and continued with his thing. At that Issei forcibly activated his armor and went to attack. Tetsaya, seeing that, put the book away from him and watched the fight from the living room, while the rest were below. Both dragons clashed fists at great speed. But it was obvious who had the advantage. After a few minutes Issei used all his power on his sword and destroyed Vali's armor. Tetsaya. Not bad but it's not over yet. At that point I activated it again and everything began to shrink. Azazel said a few words to him and Issei got upset. Tetsaya for his part just let out a sigh at the way he gains power. Issei with the power of Vali went to the attack at great speed, hitting him many times. But Vali did not give up and this time he destroyed Issei's armor, leaving him powerless. Vali. You didn't do bad at all, but you're still not my rival. You're very weak. Issei. I won't give up, I'll beat you. Vali. I would kill you right now, but I have to solve a problem first, and that is Shiba Tetsaya. Upon hearing that, everyone saw Tetsaya who was leaning on a wall calmly. Tetsaya. I told you not to speak Vali. But I know how you are and it was obvious that you would do it since you want to show off your powers. Vali. This time it won't be so easy. Research about yourself. And you don't exist. There are no records of you anywhere who you really are. Everyone upon hearing that saw Tetsaya, he just let out a sigh. Tetsaya. I wanted to have a little more peace of mind, but I knew you would talk. At that he jumped, falling near the others. Tetsaya. My real name is Igarashi Issei. Chapter 195. Everyone was surprised by what he said. But they quickly came out of their surprise as it was hard to believe. Azazel. You're kidding right. You recently heard that name and now you will say you are him. Don't you know that you humans live for a short time? Tetsaya. Maybe. Azazel. That's the only thing you'll say and you don't look anything like him. Tetsaya. Sure. Making seals that everyone present found strange. At that Tetsaya changed his appearance, leaving everyone shocked. After that he returned to his true appearance. Surzich. But how is it possible? If you are a human how could you live so long? Tetsaya. Things happen. Serafol. But we were looking for you after the war, but we didn't find you. Tetsaya. I changed my appearance very often and I did many things, I also made friends that I saw die. Like Arturo. At that he changed his appearance where the younger ones knew who he was. Sona. You were one of the 12 knights. Tetsaya. That's right. Those were good times. Michael. What is your purpose? Since you must have one if you reveal your identity. Tetsaya. Several years ago I ended a war and now another one is coming. You know I'm tired of so many wars. But that's life, nothing can be done. I had intended not to intervene so much, but Issei always dragged me to all the dangerous places. Issei. You could refuse. Tetsaya. If I could have. But he was curious to know how he would be the next bearer of that dragon. Greg. Don't tell me that you. Albion. You were that person who killed all our carriers in our battles. Tetsaya. That's right. And even without their bodies they continue to cause disasters. You don't learn from his mistakes. But what could you expect from dragons full of pride? Of course leaving 3 aside. Thinking of Office, Claire and Yukon. Issei. Then why did you feign surprise when I told you about the supernatural? Tetsaya. I wanted to see your excited face and it was worth it hahaha. Issei. You would have trained me. Since you must be very strong. Tetsaya. I would have refused since I swore not to have any more students. Exactly 2 people but they are still children. Azazel. What kind of power do you have? Tetsaya. You should know by now that you beat me up. I must have used all my tricks. Azazel upon hearing that turned pale with fear as he remembered when he said those words. He was about to respond but heard Tetsaya start to laugh. Tetsaya. You should have seen your face hahaha. It was worth it. Since I had a camera in hand. Tetsaya. Laviana and Penemu will like this photo. He told her himself but to his surprise Penemu listened. Penemu? It wasn't bad. Tetsaya. Yes. But well, leaving this talk now. Albion, you better take your friend out of here. You know what I'm capable of. Vali. Hahaha just because you were in the Great War you believe that. I am Vali Lucifer and I never run away from a battle. Tetsaya. That's not what the Mayu said when he tried to escape. Hearing that, Volley was surprised, but no one could see his face through his helmet. Serafol. You killed the mouse. But as if we didn't find their bodies, only the old man's. Michael. You killed him. Tetsaya. When I arrived at the place he was on his last legs, I just saw him die in my arms. Gabriel. He doesn't lie on Isama, I can tell. Ollie. Stop talking nonsense and we'd better fight. Going against Tetsaya at full speed. For his part, he was still standing there when Volley was about to hit him. Tetsaya evaded the blow and hit him in the stomach, causing his armor to be destroyed and some of his ribs to be broken. While he was spitting out a lot of blood. Tetsaya. I warned you. You were very stupid, you knew it. He would kill you right here, but that is not my duty. He whispered it in her ear. At that point he let go and Volley fell to the ground while he held his stomach. The others were surprised by his strength since with just one blow he left him like that. Tetsaya. Well, since you know about me. I hope they don't bother me so much. I will help a little with some things, but don't expect much from me. Sooner or later I will leave here. They say I hope you train more seriously and don't do those perverted things. But that said, I'm going to go on a trip for a while since the holidays start soon. Without waiting for a response, he teleported away, leaving everyone with many questions. Since they wanted to know about him. Tetsaya for his part appeared at his house. Tetsaya. Well, where am I going? Now that I think about it, I don't know much about the underworld. It will be good to explore to see what surprise I get. And with that idea in mind at that very moment he teleported and changed his appearance to that of a 35-year-old man so as not to attract attention. At that point he began to walk through the forest since he liked it more than the city. Tetsaya. This will be fun. With a smile on his face he began his journey. Days passed where he did not meet anyone since he wanted that. All the leaders wanted to look for him but in the end they did not do so to avoid problems. And his best friends just waited since they trusted him. Tetsaya was walking until he stopped his pace because he felt something strange where in the place he was standing. Tetsaya. I feel a very weak energy coming from here. After thinking about it for a few seconds he decided to investigate where with an earth jutsu to see where it would take him. After a few minutes he arrived at his destination and was surprised because there was a large door with multiple spells. Tetsaya. Why the hell does he have so much protection? Curious as he was, he approached the door and, using high-level seals, managed to deactivate the spells. And when he opened the big door he started to walk and as he did so the lights turned on. After a few minutes of walking he was shocked to see a person like in a capsule with more spells. Tetsaya. What's going on here? And who is she that they should have her with such security? He sat on the floor and began to think about whether to get her out of there or not. After several minutes of discussion he finally decided to get her out of there. To see if they had her locked up or not. She stood up and began to deactivate all spells until the barrier was erased. Minutes later the girl began to open her eyes. And she looked around until she saw Tetsaya with a look of wanting answers. Tetsaya was about to say something, but she beat him to it. Because you freed me. Now you better get out of here, I'm someone dangerous. Tetsaya was about to speak again until he saw how the girl began to release her power at once. While she screamed as she couldn't control it. Go away, I don't want you to get hurt because of me. Tetsaya. I'll help you. Approaching her but she wanted to push him away from her by making her power hit Tetsaya. When she saw that, she got scared thinking that she had already killed him. Tetsaya. I'm fine, don't worry. She saw Tetsaya and was a little surprised to see him as if nothing had happened. Tetsaya began to try seals that the girl did not understand, but when he finished, Tetsaya put her hand on top. Seconds later her power was fading until there was nothing left. She stood up and looked at herself in surprise and then saw Tetsaya. How is it possible? My family hired the best, but nothing worked. How you did it? Tetsaya. It wasn't that complicated. You have great power, but the problem is that your body can't handle it. So he expels it like moments ago. My family and I made the decision to lock me up so as not to cause more problems. Thank you so much. Aang. Tetsaya. Okay. And by the way my name is Igarashi Issei. Back to the true appearance of her. The girl was surprised to see how young she was. Tetsaya. But call me Tetsaya. Because. Tetsaya. I'll tell you later. Alright. My name is Seiko Gremory. Tetsaya was surprised when he heard that last name. Seiko? You know my family. Tetsaya. Only Surzich and Rias. Surzich is the Mayu Lucifer and Ria as well she is a student in the human world. Seiko was surprised to learn that she had two younger brothers. Tetsaya. Well, I better go. So you can go see your family. Seiko? Wait. I won't go with them. Tetsaya. Because. Seiko. Hundreds of years have passed. I don't think my parents remember me. Besides, no one knows of my existence. Since I was born in secret so that the mass would not make me their weapon. Tetsaya. I understand. Then come with me well if you want. Seiko. That's fine with me. I will be in your care for a while. Tetsuya just gave him a smile, and with that they both left the place. Chapter 196. They were both walking through the streets of Cow City since Tetsuya decided to return to avoid attracting attention in the underworld. He could see Siko's surprise when she saw how she had changed everything. Tetsuya. It's very different from how it was before in your time, no. Siko. Yes, but everything is beautiful. Tetsuya. Good, and tell me what you want to do. I'll be your guide. Siko. It's not good. Anywhere is fine for me. Tetsuya. No problem, really, I've already explored a lot for a few years. Siko. I see. If so, let's go eat something. Tetsuya didn't say anything else and took her to a nice restaurant. Siko. Now that I think about it, my power of destruction didn't kill you because. Tetsuya. Well, that wasn't much for me honestly. Since I have a power similar to yours, only more destructive. But I don't usually use it. Siko. What kind of power would that be? Tetsuya. Tell me, Siko, do you want me to help you improve your magic? This way you can control it 100% later. Siko. You'll only waste your time. Previously I tried everything, just like my family. Tetsuya. I will release you from the seal little by little until I remove it completely. I didn't intend to take other students, but I will make an exception. Siko. Because you helped me. You haven't known me for long. Tetsuya. If you have power you must know how to use it to defend your loved ones. Someday you will meet your family and you will be able to be with them again. Siko. I see. And tell me how my younger brothers are doing. Tetsuya. Surzich is married to his queen, Graphia Lucifuge, and they have a son named Milikas. And Riaz has his own group of his, and I think he has a relationship with his pawn who has the Dragon Emperor. Siko. I'm already an aunt. Tetsuya. Yes, but now it seems that Surzich is the oldest and you are the same age as Riaz. Siko. But I'm older than them. So I'm still the oldest. Tetsuya. Hahaha, yes, you are right. Siko. You speak very carefree, even more knowing what kind of family I belong to. Tetsuya. You should know that I have never cared about other people's titles. If they treat me well I will treat them well. But if it's the opposite, I'll do the same. Siko. I understand. How did you find out about the supernatural? Tetsuya. It's a very, very long story that I'll tell you another time. Siko was about to say something, but she rang Tetsuya's cell phone and then she got up and left to talk. A few more minutes later I return. Tetsuya. Tell me, Siko, do you want to return to the underworld? Siko. Why? Tetsuya. Some friends invited me. And one of them is your sister. Do you want to go with me? If you don't want to, you can stay at my house. Siko. I'll go, but. Tetsuya. Don't worry, I'll take care of it. They finished eating and with that they both went to Tetsuya's house who had a free room. At that Tetsuya made seals and changed Siko's appearance. Tetsuya. Well, everything is ready. We leave early tomorrow. Siko. Thank you very much for everything. Tetsuya. No problem, we're also going to take the opportunity to train there. You must know that I will have no mercy against you. Siko. I will give my all. Tetsuya nodded and went to his room to rest a little. The next day they were both on their way to the place where they were called. After a few minutes they arrived and both entourages were waiting for them. They seeing Siko were surprised to see that Tetsuya would bring someone. Riaz. Igarashi-san, who is she? Tetsuya. First just tell me, Tetsuya, nothing has changed. And second is someone I'm training. Issei. Wait for her, yes, but not for me. Tetsuya. I'll be honest with you. You don't take things very seriously like you do right now. Since Issei was looking at Siko's breasts. Tetsuya walked up and hit him on the head. Siko for her part only saw Riaz for a few seconds since she wanted to meet her. Later everyone entered the train that would take them to the underworld. Siko. Tell me, Tetsuya, how you became an immortal since it is rare for a human to live so long. Tetsuya. I have had many trips in my years of life and in some of them I killed a creature making it give me some of its abilities. Siko. How is that possible? Tetsuya. It's a shape that is somewhat difficult to explain, I won't lie to you. Siko. I see. Tell me how strong you are. Tetsuya. I can't answer that question because I might tell you that I can even destroy planets just by screaming. Tell me what you think. Siko. I can tell that you have had many battles in your life, but I don't think you will reach that level. Tetsuya. I see. What level do you think I have? Siko. Maybe a high-class demon. Tetsuya. Maybe. Tell me, Siko, if after controlling your power you return to your family, what will happen? Siko. From how you told me about the situation that exists right now, it would be very obvious what will happen. The elders of the council would force me to marry another demon to maintain blood. Tetsuya. You will have all the young people under your feet since you are very pretty. Siko. Don't say that. Having a small blush on her face. Tetsuya. I'm just telling the truth and if something happens I'll support you. Siko. Thanks for helping me. What kind of training will we have? Tetsuya, upon hearing that, remembered a house and at that moment he took out a paper with bracelet ink and began to make a seal. When he finished, he put it in his hand and the seal disappeared. Siko was about to say something until she felt her body very heavy with her. Siko? What's wrong with me? Tetsuya. Thanks to you reminding me of training I did that. It is a seal to increase the gravity of your body, so you make it more resistant as time passes I will increase its level. Siko. I see that you were right when you said that you would not have compassion. Tetsuya. That's right. You will adapt over time. Little by little we will also train your power until you completely master it. Siko just nodded and the trip continued until the train stopped and all the young people teleported away, the exception being Tetsuya and Siko and the two heiresses. Azazel, seeing Tetsuya, only swallowed. Tetsuya. Don't be afraid of me, Azazel, I'm not going to do anything to you. You know I only like you when you're not a pervert. Azazel. What's wrong with it? Tetsuya. Nothing, but it doesn't have to be shown openly either. Only be like this when you have a partner. Azazel. And you tell me that just to show off your girl who is by your side. Tetsuya. She is not my student at all. Azazel. You said you wouldn't have any more students. Tetsuya. She is an exception, she has great power that must be controlled. Azazel. What kind of power? Tetsuya. One you don't care about. Hearing that, Siko almost laughed out loud, but she managed to bear it. Azazel was a little upset, but he didn't say anything else. The young men were doing poorly in their battle as they were losing against Tannen. After several minutes they had finished and continued on their way to the Gremory mansion. When they arrived, many servants were waiting for them and in front was Grafia. Siko was surprised by everything there and she was even more surprised to see her mother again. She wanted to go with her, but he resisted after her, so he just greeted her politely. Later they all went to dinner where she saw her father again too. The next day Azazel gave instructions to the entire Gremory group for their training where Issei was captured by Tannen. Tetsuya, for his part, took Siko to a more secluded place and when they arrived he created a barrier so as not to attract attention. Tetsuya. Come with everything. You have 10% of your power released so use it to its limit until you run out of magic. Siko just nodded and went on the attack with everything she had. Chapter 197. Siko without wasting time went to attack Issei using her power of destruction, launching several attacks, but Tetsuya evaded them all. Hers, on her part, began to run towards her and Siko, seeing him, launched more attacks, but it was impossible for her to give one to Tetsuya. He could tell that he was afraid of hurting him and without any other option he went to her faster and he hit her in the abdomen with some force making her gasp for air. Tetsuya. Siko stops hesitating and attacks with everything. Right now I am your enemy. Siko. But. Tetsuya. No buts, I told you to be serious. I'll go seriously with you too. Your enemy will not have mercy on you if you fight like this. Plus you depend a lot on your magic, I'll have to teach you how to fight without using it so much. Siko. But everyone who has magic like that fights. Tetsuya. And when you run out of magical reserves, what will you do? You believe that your enemy will let you rest. Siko. Then what will we do? At that Tetsuya knelt down to be at her height and put her hand on his shoulder. Tetsuya. That's why we're here. I will help you not only control your magic but also fight in other styles, such as with weapons and fists. Don't depend so much on magic. Siko. I understand, I will do my best. Tetsuya. When you achieve it you will be able to do this. Betting up just like her. At that Issei took out her sword from her bracelet and put a little of the Hakai power on it, making the sword take on a black and dark red color. Siko seeing that was surprised since the weapon radiated a lot of power. Tetsuya. If you control your power very well, you will achieve this. Just like putting your power into your fists and thus making them more deadly. Siko. I see. All this is interesting. Tell me how you have been a teacher before. Tetsuya. I had 2 students, but I trained them as girls only. When they grew up they followed their path since they will not always depend on me. And I will do the same with you. I will train you for a while and then you will have to find a way to fight. Siko. Okay and sorry for hesitating by not attacking you with everything. Tetsuya. Well with all that said, let's start again. Siko nodded and at that she went on the attack, wanting to use her fists, but it was of little use since she could barely move because of the seal. Tetsuya for his part just smiled and waited. The days passed where they trained day and night without stopping, leaving Siko without magic reserves, and that is what Tetsuya wanted so that she would not depend on magic. Over time Tetsuya increased the weight of the seals and Tetsuya taught him Taijutsu as it would be easier. In her spare time she fought to put power into a sword that Tetsuya had given her. He looked at her from afar with a smile as she was progressing by leaps and bounds. The days continued to pass where she did not do badly with Taijutsu and she stopped using her power so much and when she used it, she gave everything of herself. She could already put power into her fists but not so lethal. Tetsuya. Well that's all for today. She is hearing that she fell to the ground tired from training so much. Tetsuya. I thought you were going to complain about my training. Siko. I had the intention, but I remembered that this is for my own good, so I tried harder. Tetsuya. And thanks to that I released 10% more of your seal. We are on the right track. If you keep going like this you will get it faster and maybe one day you will be able to create armor with just that power just like Surzic. Siko. You'll see that I'm going to make it. Tetsuya. That's how you talk. Well, the training ends here now, it's up to you if you want to improve or not. Siko. I will follow your instructions. Tetsuya. Good. Then we have to go home. She got on her knees and turned her back on him to come up. She wanted to refuse, but she was tired from training so much so she decided to climb on his back. At that he began to walk while she slept. After several minutes of walking they arrived at the mansion where, to his surprise, the others were arriving. Issei. How was your training? Tetsuya. Not bad. And I see that it went well for you. Issei. That old man didn't even let me sleep and when he did he attacked me with fireballs. Tetsuya. I see. I can tell that everyone did well. Rias. Your friend is fine. Tetsuya. Yes, she's just tired. She had not trained for years so she had to work hard. Rias. I understand. Tell me, do you want to come to the youth meeting with us so you don't stay here? Tetsuya. I don't know, tell me what you think, Siko. Siko. How did you know she was awake? Tetsuya. I realized a while ago and what you say is right. Siko. I don't really like parties but come on, there's not much to do around here. Tetsuya. You already heard it. So let's go. Ikeno. Siko-san, you have Tetsuya-san well controlled so that he pays attention to you. Siko. None of that. Tetsuya. Well, I'll go take a bath and look for something to wear. Taking Siko down and going to her room. Rias for her part took Siko and took her to her room to look for something to put on her. Minutes passed and Tetsuya on his part was dressed normally with casual clothes since he doesn't like to dress formally. At that point the others came down where Tetsuya noticed Siko also wearing casual clothes. She with a shirt and a small skirt. Tetsuya. I thought you would wear a big dress like the others. Siko. I don't like that stuff. You thought that just because you were from a high-class family, you would have to be like them. Tetsuya. Exactly. Siko. Well no. I like to walk comfortably. Rias. I did my best but in the end she didn't accept the dress. Siko. Well let's go, I'm hungry. The others didn't say anything and left the house instead. After several minutes of travel they arrived at their destination where Siko without wasting time went to the place where there was food. And Tetsuya for her part decided to go with her to cause some trouble. Siko. The truth is, your food is better. Tetsuya. Thanks for the compliment. But this food is made by the best cooks so don't say anything bad or else you'll get in trouble. Siko. Good. Is it me or are all those kids looking at us dirty? Tetsuya. They look at me since I'm a human and wonder what I'm doing here. Siko. I see. No matter how much time passes they will never change. Tetsuya. You get used to this over time. So don't take it seriously. Siko. If it's okay for you, it's okay for me too. Have some. Giving him a plate full of food. He took it with a smile and they both ate while talking about trivial things. The young demons just looked at Tetsuya with hatred since he shouldn't be there. One couldn't stand it anymore and went to both of them. Excuse me, miss, but you shouldn't mix with trash like him. At that Siko turned around. And many young demons gathered around to see what would happen. Surzic and Serafal were arriving and seeing that crowd they went to the place. And seeing Tetsuya there didn't give them a good feeling. Siko. The only trash here is you. You better go away, you ruin my appetite. While Tetsuya had not given a second thought since it was not necessary, so he continued eating. Don't talk to me like that, my family is one of the pillars. While you are just an ordinary demon you should be grateful that he spoke to you. Siko. Nobody called you. Don't make him angry or you will know the consequences. I can make my family put you in jail or make you mine. Siko. Yours. Ahahaha, you're crazy, first dead than being with someone as weak as. The boy was upset when he heard that. It will be bad for you if you continue like this. Siko. Yes, you already told me that you belong to one of the pillars and that is important. That I am superior to you. So you better get out of the way and I'll kill that thing over there. Siko erased his smile and at that he took Tetsuya's hand. He knew well what he wanted to do so he just touched his head and removed the seal. Making him revert to his true appearance. Everyone upon seeing her was surprised at how beautiful she was. Surzic for her part was more surprised by her hair color. So you were hiding your appearance. That way you look much better. I'll make you part of my harem better. So get out of the way and I'll kill that thing. Taking a step but at that Siko also looked at her not very happy. Siko. Don't you dare talk to Tetsuya like that. Giving him a death stare. The boy for his part did not take it into account and created a magic circle where he launched an attack in Tetsuya's direction. He didn't even move from there since it wasn't necessary. Then Siko threw a small sphere with a power causing the boy's spell to be destroyed. The others, seeing that power, were shocked, especially Surzic and Riaz, since they didn't know about her. Siko? Don't you dare touch it. The only person who can do it is me. Tetsaya upon hearing that spit out his food and for the first time turned around, seeing Siko with a surprised face. For her part, she just gave him a big smile and winked. After that she saw the boy with a look of hatred for what she said earlier. Chapter 198. The boy was upset by what he told him, so he created several spells and cast them at Siko. For her part, she evaded everything without difficulty, since Tetsaya's training was more difficult. At that she began to run and hit him in the face with some of the power of destruction, causing the boy to fly from the impact. Siko? You call yourself someone superior, but you don't even resist. Since the boy was passed out, everyone was shocked when they saw that because there was someone else with that power. Both the two brothers and Sarier did not know about her. Surzic. Excuse me but we can talk. Siko. Sure but be quick since you have things to do. He just nodded and with that they both began to walk to another room just like Riaz. Tetsaya, for his part, was dragged by Siko and without any other option he went with them. Surzic. Igarashi-san this is personal. Siko. He has every right to be here too. And well what Mao Lucifer would say. Surzic. Who are you? Siko. The answer is easy, call your parents and they will explain everything to them. She walked a little and went to sit near Tetsaya to wait. Surzic, without any other option, called his parents. Minutes passed where everyone talked to their companions. Minutes later they both arrived and saw their two children. But when they looked to the sides they were surprised to see a person there. Siko. Long time no see. Getting up and going with them. On their part, they began to walk until they were close and then they gave each other a big hug. Then Alana. How is it possible? Siko. Someone helped me a long time ago and now I'm fine. Riaz. Mom, what's going on, how do you know her? At that both parents saw each other and nodded and took a seat nearby at a table in the center. Xiaudicus. This is Siko Gremory and she is our daughter. Both brothers opened their eyes in shock from such surprise. Surzic. Father, don't say that and tell us the truth. Xiaudicus. That's the truth. She is her older sister, but we decided to never tell you about her. Riaz. Because. Then Alana. She has a great power of destruction. Surpassing Surzic by a lot, but she was not able to control him so between the three of us, we decided to seal her to find a solution in the future. Xiaudicus. But to date we still haven't found anything. But how is it possible that you are free? Siko. It's all thanks to Tetsaya, he accidentally freed me and sealed my powers. Then Alana. How did you do it boy? Tetsaya. I trained hard to reach that level. Now she is able to control it but only part of it. Xiaudicus. Thanks for the help. Then Alana. Daughter, but why didn't you return with us? Siko. I wanted to explore a little and Tetsaya supported me. He's been training me all this time. Tetsaya. Well, with everything turned out, I'll leave. Siko enjoys the family moment. She was going to answer him, but Tetsaya just got up and teleported away. Siko just let out a sigh and she decided to be with her family. Tetsaya for his part appeared at his house and took the photo of his family. Tetsaya. Now that I think about it, Eri's birthday is in May. I should look for a gift now that I have free time, but that he might like. Closing his eyes to think of some idea. At that she came out of her thoughts as a magic circle appeared in her room. He was surprised to see Siko there. Tetsaya. You shouldn't be with your family. Siko. Make time to be with them. The truth is that it surprises me to know that you returned to the human world. Tetsaya. I don't know almost anyone there. And soon something will happen at that party. Siko. How do you know something will happen? Tetsaya. Problems always occur when there is such an important event. Siko. I see. And tell me what you plan to do now. Tetsaya. I'm just thinking. Siko raised an eyebrow and looked down at her and noticed how Tetsaya was holding a photo. She approached Tetsaya and took the photo quickly. When she saw her, she was surprised since there were many girls there and two girls. Some girls she obviously knew. Siko. Tetsaya who are they? I know some of them but because they come out here. Tetsaya. It's hard to explain the truth. Siko. Tell me, I have a lot of time. Tetsaya. As you know, my real name is Igarashi Issei. Siko. Sure. Now that I think about it, why do you use another name? Also Surzic told me a little about you that you killed the mass and other things. Tetsaya. All the girls in this photo are my partners. Hearing that, Siko was surprised, but Tetsaya continued. Tetsaya. I do not belong to this dimension, I come from another that is somewhat similar to this one. Siko. Don't tell me that Haidu Issei boy is you. Tetsaya. So it's just that I have two brothers and one of them has the Welsh dragon. Well I wasn't born with powers like them. Siko. So what are you doing here? Tetsaya. I just appeared here. During that war one had the intention of returning soon, but I lost track of time while traveling so much. Siko? And we know each other there. Tetsuya. The truth is, I don't know, I've never seen it before. I've been busy fighting. Siko. I see. You get along well with Rias. Tetsuya. She hates my guts and since she killed my brother he took a very different path. Siko. I understand. But I see that you are not talking to Serafal-sama. Tetsuya. I already have my magical girl. My intention was not to interfere so much here, but in the end I had no choice. Siko. And when will you return to your dimension? Tetsuya. In a few days I have to find a gift for my daughter. Showing him a photo of her. Siko. Who is the mother? Tetsuya. The truth is that she is not my blood daughter, but I love her very much. She calls all the girls mom. Siko. I understand. Tetsuya. Soon the god Loki will attack the meeting where the leaders are. Siko. And you're going. Tetsuya. I'll go but only to see since I can't interfere so much. Haidu Issei must be stronger and that is a challenge that he must face. Siko. And because you don't have that last name. Tetsuya. My parents took it from me. And the girls gave me the one I have now. Siko. Tetsuya. Don't say anything. First think about it carefully. Siko. We haven't met before but moments ago I said that only I can touch you and that's how it will be. But in this dimension since when we return there will be more people. Tetsuya. You might think so. Siko. No. Besides, they have already made their lives and I must make mine and it will be with you. So no more girls from here. Because the truth is I'm jealous. Giving him a smile causing Tetsuya to shiver. Siko got up from her seat and sat near Tetsuya and leaned on her shoulder. Siko. I already said it so let's find that gift for the girl. Well, but first I want to see how they are going to fight. Tetsuya. If you wish, so be it. Stroking her hair while she had a big smile. Chapter 199. One day passed and both entourages were waiting for Loki to come out of her prison so they could stop him a little. While Tetsuya and Siko watched everything from afar. Siko. You fought him. Tetsuya. Yes. I was in the house when Serafal arrived to take me to that fight. Siko. And you agreed so quickly. Tetsuya. There were people there who were very important to me, so I wasn't going to stay with my arms crossed. Siko. You always fight yes. Measure the consequences. Tetsuya. If you have power, you have the duty to use it to defend your loved ones regardless of the consequences. Siko. I see and don't worry when I control all my power I'll watch your back. Tetsuya. I appreciate it. Minutes passed and Loki emerged from his prison and mocked both entourages since they were weak for him. He summoned his family and sent them to attack. Tetsuya. I'm glad Issei trained more seriously. He can now use the armor more. Siko. I hear your words perhaps. Tetsuya. I told you this for your own good. If he wants to protect his loved ones, he must train non-stop. Siko. Don't demand so much from the boy. Tetsuya didn't say anything and sat on the ground while Siko stood to see the battle better. Minutes passed and at first they were doing well, but it only lasted a short time as Loki gave more power to his family. Tetsuya for his part just watched everything. But he focused more on Arena and Roswas who were there. He knew they could so he just let out a sigh. The fight continued and Tetsuya watched as Issei was bitten by Fenrir. Siko. You know that creature is dangerous and you still do nothing. Tetsuya. You keep looking. Without taking his eyes off the battle. At that, they both watched as Rias released his punching power. Tetsuya. Your sister gets carried away easily. I don't blame her, I would act like that too. Siko. I hope I never see you angry. Tetsuya didn't respond and they continued watching the fight. Where minutes later Issei woke up and took Thor's hammer and that's where they sealed Loki. Previously, Vali arrived and her and Tetsuya's group was able to see Kuroka and Lefe after so many years. Tetsuya. Well, we're leaving. Siko. I thought we were going to fight. Tetsuya. I didn't stop you. It would have been. Siko. It wouldn't be fun without you. Tetsuya. Siko we will leave soon since I have something to do first. Siko. And that would be. Tetsuya. A group will attack the Yokai leader in a few days and I don't want her daughter to suffer. Siko. I see when we leave. Tetsuya. Right now. I won't kill those guys since it's not my duty, but I will put them out of action for a while. Siko. I understand then let's go so let's go look for that gift. Tetsuya. Kyoto is a nice place where we can find something. Besides, why not spend time with your family better? Siko. Nah it's better this way. I already greeted them and that's enough. Tetsuya didn't say anything else and he grabbed her waist and they both teleported to Kyoto. Then they both went to rest at a hotel, renting 2 rooms to wait for the moment when the heroes appear. The days passed and Siko took the opportunity to go on dates with Tetsuya. Plus they both looked for Eri's gifts. Tetsuya in the end didn't know what to give her, so in the end, he decided to give her that since he liked her. It was night and they were both a little far from the yokai leader's mansion. Since soon the group was going to attack. And hours later Cao Cao arrived with his group and he saw Siko, and she nodded. They both took out their wings and took flight to the place landing near them. Tetsuya. I won't let you touch her, Cao Cao. Cao Cao. Get out of here or you will die. Siko. He'll only say it once. So listen to him and leave or you will know the consequences. Jean. Shut up you disgusting demon. Tetsuya. Hey, don't talk to him like that. Cao Cao. Well it's better to end this. Taking out his spear. Tetsuya for her part did not show surprise to see her. Cao Cao. This is the true loneliness. Tetsuya. I know what it is. But I won't give up. Taking out a chain that he had around his neck. Tetsuya. I haven't used this in years. 100 on. Activating the armor. Everyone was surprised to see those armor plus Siko, since he had never seen it or Tetsuya will tell him about it. Without wasting time he pulled out the spear from him as well. Tetsuya. I trust you Siko, I'll leave the rest to you. But if you need help, call me. Siko. I will not waste this opportunity, I will show you that I am also strong. Taking attack position. Tetsuya just smiled and then he went to the attack where both of them clashed spears. Siko without wasting time put a little of her power into her fists and went to attack. Her Heracles also went and trusted since they thought that this power would not hurt him so much. Cao Cao. Since that spear can against mine it must be impossible. Tetsuya. You depend a lot on that spear. When you no longer have it, how strong will you be? Cao Cao did not respond and went to the attack with greater speed. Siko was evading all attacks from George and evading sword attacks from Siegfried. Jean. How is it possible? Siko. This is nothing, Tetsuya's training is more deadly than this. Throwing several spheres with his power of destruction. Bull Cao Cao had several wounds on his body. Cao Cao. How is it possible? I'm a hero, I can't lose to you. Also I don't feel any sacred gear on you. So where did that armor come from? Tetsuya. I've had it for years. Plus I rarely use it. Deactivating the armor. When Cao Cao saw that, he smiled a little since he thought he had run out of power. So he took advantage of that and went on the attack. Tetsuya for his part also ran even faster, giving him a kick in the face that sent him flying away. Cao Cao's companions saw him passing by them and how he was hurt all over. Tetsuya walked a little until he was in front of Siko again. Tetsuya. You're doing very well. Siko. It's all thanks to you sensei. He said the last thing with a big smile. Tetsuya better not respond since Cao Cao came out of the rubble not very happy. Cao Cao. Kill him. The others didn't say anything since it was the first time they had looked at him so upset. At that point everyone went on the attack. Tetsuya took a step forward. Tetsuya. Dragon King's roar. Making everyone go flying because of it. Causing the barrier that Cao Cao put up to be destroyed and drawing the attention of the soldiers and Yasaka. Without wasting time, everyone went to the battle site where they saw the group of wounded heroes and Tetsuya and Siko, as if nothing had happened. Yasaka. What's going on here? Tetsuya. They intended to do something to you or your family. My partner and I have been following them for days to be able to stop them. Sorry for causing so much trouble. Bound just like Siko. Yasaka saw him for a few moments, but sensed no bad intentions, so he told his guards to lower their weapons. When the group saw this, they took advantage and escaped from the place. Tetsuya said nothing as his mission had been accomplished. Yasaka. We can talk in a more private place. Tetsuya just nodded and with that the three of them headed off. Chapter 200. After a few minutes of walking they arrived at Yasaka's office where the three took their seats. Yasaka. Who you really are. Tetsuya. What do you mean? Yasaka. On your neck I feel an energy that is mine and the other is my daughter's. Tell me who you are. She told him seriously. Tetsuya, for his part, did not know what to respond since those were the marks they gave him a long time ago. So he just let out a sigh since he had no choice. Tetsuya. I'm Igarashi Issei. I come from another dimension where you and Kunu are my partners. You put this mark on me the day I fought against your fiancé. Yasaka. You couldn't have made up a better story. Tetsuya only took a photo where everyone was gathered. She was surprised since there she was with a big smile. Tetsuya. It may sound difficult but that's how things are. Yasaka. And what is your purpose for coming here? Tetsuya. None. Years ago I fell into this dimension and well explored a little. Yasaka. That's why I fight against that group. Since you knew what was going to happen. Tetsuya. That was going to happen today. Where I come from Kunu asked for our help to look for you. Yasaka. How come we started dating? Tetsuya. That's private. Yasaka was about to answer, but then the door opened and a girl entered. Kunu. Mom, I heard a lot of noise, something happened a while ago. Yasaka. Nothing, daughter, can you go back to sleep? Tetsuya was surprised to see Kunu as a girl. Tetsuya. That's her. Hisaka. It's Kanu, you should know. Tetsuya. Well, I knew her when she was older. It is a different change in dimension. Kunu. Who are you? Tetsuya. My name is Igarashi Issei, my pleasure. Princess Kunu. Kanu. I say the same and sorry for bothering, I'll go rest. Hisaka just nodded and she left. Hisaka. And who are these two girls? Tetsuya. One is my daughter Eri and the other is my little sister Liza. At night you tell them bedtime stories since I can't. Hisaka. I see. Then there must be another you here. Tetsuya. That's right, and his name is Haidu Issei and he is a pawn of the heiress Ria's Gremory. Current bearer of the Welsh dragon. Hisaka. If so, because you are not a pawn or you have the celestial dragon. Tetsuya. There are a lot of changes here. Where I come from I have brothers and one of them was the Drake bearer. Well, I was born without power. Hisaka. Then how did you fight them? Tetsuya. I had to train since I was a child to get to the level I am now. Although I have a long way to go. Hisaka. I see. Tetsuya. This was all a good talk, but it's time for me to leave. Hisaka. You can stay if you want. Tetsuya. No thanks. The truth is, I already want to go back to my house. I haven't seen my family in hundreds of years and I miss them. I have been able to endure so much time here because I have seen you. But it's one thing to see and another to give them a hug or talk to them. Hisaka. If so, I wish you a good trip and thank you for everything. Tetsuya just nodded and with that he took Siko's hand and they left. Tetsuya. I'm surprised how quiet you were. Siko. I wanted to hear a little about your story. Tetsuya. Where do you want to go before we leave? Siko. I want to see a little of the human world. Tetsuya just gave her a smile and took her hand to take her to many places he had seen. The days passed where classes started, but Tetsuya stopped going to travel. There was also the trip to Kyoto where there was no fight since Tetsuya had taken care of them. But the group was able to meet Yusaka and Issei got a runny nose because of how cute she was. Well, both young men were somewhere in Europe. Siko. Rias called me and he told me if we want to go see his final battle against Sarairg Bale. Tetsuya. Sure, why not? Siko. In your dimension who won? Tetsuya. It was Sarairg. After that he challenged me to a fight. Siko. And you agreed no. Tetsuya. Yes, it was a great battle. Siko. Then we're leaving. It will begin shortly. Tetsuya nodded and with that Siko created a magic circle where they both went to the underworld to watch the battle. When they arrived, they both walked a little until they reached where the leaders and Siko's parents were. Then Alana. I thought you weren't going to come. Siko. It will be interesting. Auden. So you are the boy they told me about. Tetsuya. It's a pleasure to see you old. Auden. Hahaha, you are very carefree. Tetsuya. What can I say? They both took their seats and with that the battle began where neither group surrendered. Tetsuya for his part was surprised since things were very different from how they were in his dimension. Minutes passed until it was the final battle where both young men unleashed all their power. And as Issei confessed that she liked Rias. Tetsuya just laughed hearing that since he chose the best moment. Siko. Hey, don't do that. Tetsuya. He will give his all to win since he confessed to the woman he loves. Siko. I see. At that Tetsuya stood up. Tetsuya. It was a good battle, but it's time Siko, we have to go. Siko. I understand. Surzich. Where? Tetsuya. I'm going home and she'll come with me. I don't know if we'll see each other again. Siko. It was a pleasure to see you again, parents, but there is still a lot I want to know. That's why I'm going with him. Surzich, you are a good little brother, take care of the old people in Rias. Then Alana. Hey, don't tell us like that. Siko just laughed and gave them a hug. After that he approached Tetsuya and he just teleported away. Appearing in a forest. She was about to say something until Tetsuya shouted a person's name and at that moment a portal opened. Issei. Long time no see. Since at that moment Chichigami was hugging Issei. Chichigami. Yes, it's been a while and how did it go? At that Issei let out a sigh and began to explain everything that happened to Chichigami. She was surprised by what she experienced. Later they said goodbye and both returned home. Just as Issei entered, he was thrown to the ground by the two girls. Since Chichigami had informed them of her return and the girls left everything aside to go see him. It had been a month since they had seen him. After the girls separated Issei greeted each of her partners. And at the end they met Siko where they were surprised to know that she was Surzich and Ria's older sister. He told them everything he had experienced. Issei. I hope you can tell me the reason why you three always fought. Enemu? That's already in the past, don't worry hahaha. Serafal. It wasn't the same. She said it nervously. Gabriel. Leave paperwork in the office, I'll go finish it. The three were about to leave until clones of Issei stopped them. Issei. Now you want to escape. It will not be so easy. I also brought photos, look. Taking a lot of photos of most of them. Hanu. Wait, how did you take this one? Issei. I was quick to do it, ha 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 ha. Iri. It's Kano-chan as a child, she's very cute. Isaka. I have more at home. Liza. We can see them. Kanu. They're not very embarrassing. Isaka. But later, yes. Both girls nodded. Everything was joy until someone knocked on the door. Leviana went to open it until the group heard how she raised her voice. Issei saw Gabriel and she took the girls, and the rest went to see. Leviana. What do you want? Issei. Leviana, what's happening? Going out and seeing a person there. Issei. Asami. Asami. Issei, I need your help, please. Issei. What's wrong? Asami. They sent us to look for information and a group of them cornered us. We fought but there were many of them so she told me to escape so she would seek help. Getting down on his knees and putting his head on the ground. Asami. I know I hurt you, but they are my friends and I know you can help me. Please. At that Issei gets on his knees and puts his hand on her shoulder and she looks up. Issei. The truth is, you never hurt me. You just followed what your parents said. You never hurt me. I will help you, don't worry. Asami. Thank you very much and sorry for the past. Issei. I forgave you many years ago. At that Issei stood up from her and extended his hand to her, which she accepted. Issei. Where are they? Asami. Our mission was in Wales. They must be there. Issei. I see. Anu, Lefei, Lucina and Siko are leaving. Siko. Great, me too. Issei. If I don't take you, you were going to insist. Like Najira Kian Renksu. But they just got back so they better rest. Someone has gone there. Lucina. So I'll take them. Issei. Good. At that he turned around and gave the girls a smile. Amaterasu. You just came back and you're already leaving. Issei. It is my duty to help if I can. Raphia. Have a safe trip. Issei. Tell the girls I'll be back soon. She nodded and at that Issei turned around and the group teleported away. Asami also went with them since she wanted to help a little bit. Upon reaching their destination, Asami guided them to the last place they were. After that Kanu started looking for her trail to see where they went. After several minutes of walking they stopped. Lefei. They are more than she expected. Lucina. Maybe they were waiting for us. Since the group was surrounded by many. Just then a person came out of the crowd. Riaz. So you went to get help with the useless one. Siko. Wow, I didn't expect to see it so soon. Asami. Where is Sona? Riaz. A little busy. Giving him a big smile. Riaz. But that doesn't matter right now. Just then the rest of her group came out. Lucina. Wow, you guys did anything to be able to. Riaz. You better shut up, thanks to Rizavam-sama, we are now stronger and not even you can beat us. Just then someone else emerged from the crowd. Nobody leaves alive today. Issei. End of the first season. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.